How worried should we be about what's being called the new world screwworm? The answer is coming up.
I'm Sean Malone. Missouri's Attorney General says they're expecting to see a spike in this type of crime during the World Cup. I'll tell you what it is and what they're doing about it coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A stray morning thunderstorm, then clouds will give way to some sunshine today, becoming hot and very humid this afternoon with a high of 92.
It's time for the Cards and the Mets. They play tonight. Victor Scott optioned to AAA Memphis.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. No word yet on why a U.S. Army helicopter may have gone down near the Strait of Hormuz, but President Trump says the crew is fine. The president also striking an optimistic tone about peace talks with Iran when he called into a political rally on Monday.
And I think we are winning that battle, but you're really going to win it over the next 2 weeks when we declare total victory. It'll be a total victory. It'll happen very soon.
Likely no chance for a victory in the LA mayor's race for Spencer Pratt, the former reality star. New projections say he will miss the cut for the runoff election in the LA mayor race. ABC's Alex Stone.
Pratt, who President Trump said was MAGA, is a registered Republican, and while the mayor's race is considered nonpartisan, LA is a city of just 15% registered Republican voters.
The new world screwworm being found in more places after first being detected on a ranch in South Texas. Several more cows have been infected, and now it's confirmed that a dog in New Mexico. Officials say right now there's no threat to the food supply. This is ABC News. A man accused of sneaking onto a flight from Houston to Los Angeles, making his first court appearance on Monday. His attorney claims he bought a fake boarding pass online and thought he was just getting a cheap ticket. McDonald's is rolling out the beginning of a more automated customer experience, or as McDonald's calls it, the customer journey. Pretty soon, a bot will probably be asking you if you want fries with that.
The days of ordering from a real-life person in the drive-thru lane could soon be in the rearview mirror. McDonald's revealing it's testing Arch IQ, a Google-powered AI ordering system at 5 of its U.S. drive-thru locations.
Was that with hunter sauce and demon sauce?
The chatbot, nicknamed Archie, taking orders in English and Spanish. McDonald's CEO saying it's 90% accurate.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze. Pepsi is going driverless for some of its delivery trucks. The Wall Street Journal says that Pepsi is now using dozens of driverless trucks to make deliveries in Arizona. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 6:02. We have cloudy skies, 74 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman.
Cowards!
The push to recall the mayor and several Festus council members fell short last night after the council refused to put it on the ballot.
So it is the wrong.
But the residents behind it aren't backing down. Their whole fight traces back to a proposed data center. For 9 months, neighbors have battled the project and how city leaders have handled it. Recall organizer Lori Merriman tells KMOX.
It's been the lack of transparency on the data centers and the hidden agendas, not putting things on the agendas for the people to hear, but putting them behind closed doors.
The city attorney says the recall petition simply didn't meet the legal bar to recall the officials, but organizers aren't done. They say they'll go to court to try to force the recall onto the ballot.
Chaos outside the Shrewsbury Sky Zone and Walmart Sunday night. Police from many different jurisdictions responding to the area. Social media video shows hundreds of kids fighting in the parking lot.
Shrewsbury police say the kids were there for a 6-7 event since it was June 7th, but Sky Zone was already full. So tempers flared fast in the 90-degree weather and 8 fights broke out, according to police, who say when they arrived, the kids were yelling obscenities and throwing rocks at officers. These were anywhere from 10 to 17-year-olds. Several were taken into custody and released to their parents. One 12-year-old was caught with a butcher knife. The crowd dispersed to other stores in the plaza, which were forced to close for the day. No injuries were reported. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
I'm Michael Calhoun. One of the big questions after Sunday, can the parents be held responsible, especially if they just dropped their kids off and left? Attorney and veteran prosecutor Rachel Smith tells KMOX it comes down to what those parents knew.
If the parents dropped them off knowing there was a danger and a risk, or knowing of the potential for criminal behavior, then yes. But if they drop them off sort of in a negligent manner, or in a manner where they didn't know what was going on. Depending on the age of the child, no.
And if a parent is charged, Smith says that wouldn't go through juvenile court. It would land in the adult system with the circuit attorney or the county prosecutor. She says investigators would also be looking at whoever's organizing these teen takeovers online.
We're also hearing from Sky Zone this morning. The company tells KMOX it's Shrewsbury Park, a franchise that's independently owned, hit capacity during a promotion on Sunday and began turning people away. According to Sky Zone, that's when a crowd built up outside, while staff kept things running safely inside. The company says it's grateful for how fast local police responded.
More than 11,000 school buses across Missouri have been inspected ahead of the next school year. KMOX first brought you the results last week. This morning, Lieutenant Eric Brown with the Missouri State Highway Patrol is giving a bigger picture. He says, while more than 10,000 buses were approved on the first inspection, 283 were placed out of service. Brown says the issues found can vary depending on the bus and the route it travels.
A rural bus can experience some issues that a bus that primarily operates in an urban area doesn't see. For the out-of-service issues, that's going to be things such as major leaks in the exhaust systems, major brake defects, steering and suspension defects.
Brown says buses taken out of service must be fixed, re-inspected, and approved by the patrol before they can carry students again.
Since 1987, the annual Thanksgiving Eve boxing match between police and firefighters has raised more than $13 million for the Backstoppers, the nonprofit supporting families of first responders killed or critically injured in the line of duty. The man who built that tradition into what it is today died Monday. Steve Hawley, executive director of Budweiser Guns and Hoses, was 70. No one saw his work up close longer than retired Backstoppers executive director and former St. Louis County Police Chief Ron Battelle.
It was all about taking care of the families of fallen police, fire, and EMS officers, and he did a wonderful job.
Under Hawley's leadership, the event topped $1 million in donations for multiple consecutive years. He also helped launch a Guns N' Hoses First Responder Soccer Cup to expand fundraising beyond the boxing ring.
Also in the news, a new film has begun shooting in St. Louis.
Love on the Hill is a new romantic comedy about baseball and Italian-American heritage. It's shooting in and based on St. Louis's The Hill neighborhood. Kelly Hyatt, director of the St. Louis Film Office, tells KMOX this is a great opportunity for St. Louis to show itself off.
St. Louis is one of those places that people just don't really think about. There isn't a bad thing, there isn't a good thing. They're just like, oh, I don't really know that much about it. So stories like Love on the Hill, stories like these other ones that are coming, that's what puts us on the map.
Hyatt says 2 other films are set to shoot in St. Louis this summer, but she says she cannot disclose those films yet. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Check traffic and weather next at 6:07.
Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra for an unforgettable evening of music with the legendary, incomparable Bernadette Peters, legendary Tony Award-winning star of stage and screen. With her signature charisma and unmatched artistry, this one-night-only performance with your SLSO offers an intimate concert experience with one of musical theater's most luminous voices and a must-see event for Broadway and symphony fans alike. Don't miss an evening with Bernadette Peters, Friday, June 12th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I went to Staples for a custom printed graduation banner and invites and saw that Party City is now at Staples.
Wait, what?
Party City is now at Staples.
So now Staples has balloons?
Yep.
Decorations?
Yes.
Streamers, cups, table covers?
Yep, Staples has everything for a party. And now buy 2 get 1 free on select foil balloons.
Holy confetti! So the best party started at Staples.
That was easy.
In 613 select stores, exclusions apply. In-store or buy online. Pick up in-store only.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case, Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything. to me.
Learn more at skyrizzy.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZY.
The KMOX Newsroom has been honored with the prestigious Regional Edward R. Murrow Award in 2 categories: Breaking News.
We have a tornado warning, which has just been issued.
And Overall Excellence.
I'm not going to call for County Executive Page to resign.
The KMOX Newsroom continues to be the vital source of information for our region, dedicated to journalistic excellence for St. Louis. We are the voice of St. Louis. 104.1 FM KMOX. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's 6:10. Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things look good out there right now, Debbie. Things are rolling along pretty nicely, even in the construction zones. I was just taking a look at KA Technology, where we had the police and EMS actually respond for a crash. This is a very short delay right there. I think it's people waiting at the light. Northbound's a little heavier than southbound, but it's really not looking like there's any issue there. They may have cleared it off into a parking lot like the Quick Trip or something. So looks like you're okay there. And like I said, in the construction zones, not enough volume to slow you down so far on both sides of the river. Things continue to roll along. We will have some road work today and tomorrow. It was scheduled to be started yesterday and wrap up today, but they had to push it back because of the weather. So this morning they're going to be working westbound 270 at the Canal Bridge, right lane closed, beginning at 9 a.m. So it'll be after the morning commute to 5 a.m. But tomorrow morning they'll be working eastbound through there, and they'll start a little earlier. It'll be 7:30 to 3:30 on that eastbound run. And 13 at the Kaskaskia River, they should have started a project there yesterday as well, where it's down to one lane and they have flaggers or signals in place to direct you through that construction zone. Next update is 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
We've got a heat advisory from noon through 10 tonight. A straight morning thunderstorm, then clouds will give way to some sunshine later today. A hot and humid afternoon, our high 92 in AccuWeather, the real field temperature could get over 100. Partly cloudy, warm and muggy tonight, though 77. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, a breezy, very hot, humid afternoon, the high 96, with real fields again exceeding 100. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Things are warming up out there right now. We have 73 in Florissant, 74 in St. Peter's, cloudy and 75 downtown at the Arch.
And the news continues. How worried should we be about the New World screwworm? A second case has now been detected in another cow in Texas. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer has more.
Screwworm is a flesh-eating parasitic fly with the power to decimate livestock. But veterinarian Dr. Ann Hohenhaus says the risk to public health is very low.
It's not very common that this parasitic fly infects humans, but if you have an open wound or a wound that doesn't heal, then you should see your physician to discuss whether or not the wound it might have this parasitic fly in it.
The parasitic flies were eradicated from the U.S. back in the 60s. A human case was confirmed last year in the United States in an international traveler, but that person recovered. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
This is Jim Ryan in Dallas-Fort Worth. The plan from U.S. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins is to release sterilized flies into the environment in hopes of disrupting the New World screwworm's reproductive cycle. Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller is skeptical.
If they stick with that plan, we're going to be totally infested.
Rollins' response?
That is a very unserious comment from a perhaps unserious ag commissioner.
Despite an endorsement from President Trump, Miller lost in the March Republican primary to keep his seat. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
The World Cup coming to the United States is expected to bring a spike in human trafficking, according to Missouri's Attorney General.
Attorney General Catherine Hanaway is urging Missouri residents to be on the lookout for signs of human trafficking over the coming weeks. Hanaway says law enforcement has changed their approach to combating human trafficking by not treating the victims as perpetrators.
15, 20 years ago, these victims were treated as the criminals. They were runaways. They were considered prostitutes. We weren't going after the perpetrators. The shift has been just unbelievable.
To help make it easier to report human trafficking, her office is teaming up with the nonprofit organization It's a Penalty. If you see something suspicious, you can call 1-833-5-BE-SAFE. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A heads up for businesses in St. Charles County and beyond thinking about growing. The county is hosting 2 sessions on all of the incentives and programs available. KMOX asked County Community Development Director Michael Hurlburt which industries it's aimed at.
At the end of the day, it actually doesn't really matter what the sector is. It's just a matter of what their needs are and whether we can help them.
Hurlburt says manufacturing, logistics, finance, and healthcare are all growing quickly in the county, but the sessions are aimed mainly at keeping and expanding the businesses already there. There are 2 different times offered, noon today or 8:30 in the morning on June 24th.
It's 6:15. 2 U.S. pilots were killed in a crash while on the way to pick up Yadier Molina and his family. The private jet had just taken off from an airport in the Dominican Republic Sunday when they reported a hydraulic system failure. The pilots turned around and attempted an emergency landing, but the plane burst into flames. They were the only ones on the plane. It was headed to pick up the Molina family in Texas. Molina wrote on Instagram, "My condolences to the pilots and their families. I'm very sad about everything." The Cardinals are in New York. They take on the Mets tonight. It's at 6:10. We'll have the pregame for you at 5:15. The Cardinals will make this transaction official later today. Victor Scott II has been optioned to AAA Memphis, and the Cardinals have called up Nathan Church, or they've activated him from the injured list, we should say, as he's been rehabbing for Memphis. Here's our discussion of it yesterday on the Gas House Gang with MLB Network host Greg Amsinger. Greg, I mean, the Vic Scott move was coming. We kind of saw that was going to be in the works if Church came back, and that seems to be exactly what's about to go down.
You look, Victor Scott can't be upset, guys, that he didn't get an opportunity. And I say that with a grain of salt because when a big leaguer is hitting 9th every single day, that is a very tough spot to play in. And I've talked to so many big leaguers about that. The game starts your entire life. You never waited an hour to get your first at bat. It just mounts the pressure on being productive when you get a chance to hit. I think he can't be upset with the organization. The opportunity was there. It's difficult to hit 9th, as so many other players that have done that. Pete Crow Armstrong just recently in Chicago. Jackson Holliday still struggling with that with the Baltimore Orioles. It's real. So I hope he can find his swing again. He won't be batting 9th if they send him down. But it's time for the Cardinals to put their best foot forward.
Cards are currently in second place in the NL Central, 5.5 games behind the Brewers, who won late last night 15-14 over the A's in Las Vegas. In New York also, the New York Knicks, they dropped their first game in 46 days. They had won 13 in a row in the NBA's postseason, but they fell last night at home to the San Antonio Spurs, 115-111. The Knicks lead the NBA Finals 2-1. College basketball, it's official. SLU and Mizzou will play a 3-game series at Enterprise Center starting November 6th. SLU coach Josh Schertz.
Yeah, I think came together. Honestly, Dennis reached out to me. I think it's probably a situation where it's a great time for both teams to play. We both programs are in the right place from a trajectory standpoint. I think it's an opportunity in this NIL era. Play the games at Enterprise. We think both fan bases really show out for it.
Last time they played 25 years ago, a 3-game series at the Dome, at the Hearn Center, and at Enterprise Center. Mizzou won 2 out of 3, but all were very close contests. We are the home of the Billikens, and we'll put out ticket information as soon as it becomes available. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Billikens and the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here's what I'll tell you about McKelvey Homes. It's not unusual for a family to buy one, then come back 15, 20 years later and buy another. That is true. They love to do this. McKelvey Homes has been building for 128 years, since 1898, and they have repeat customers. The newest community, and I know that's rare, but it's true. This is what happens with McKelvey Homes. They have people who keep coming back to them. The newest community is opening this summer. It's called the Estates at Post Farms in O'Fallon, Missouri. Pickleball courts, scenic lakes, Wentzville schools, walking trails everywhere. Home sites will go fast. I think people are finding that McKelvey Homes is building and giving them a fresh start. Get in early and save up to $90,000, whether you're moving up, helping your kids start their own chapter. Ask for Clyde. Jim Brennan says ask for Clyde at the Estates at Post Farms. He'll show you what it's like to build homes and build custom with McKelvey. McKelveyhomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
It's going on 6:21. It is cloudy out there, a little breezy. Probably the best part of the day right now if you need to get out and, I don't know, walk the dog, do some gardening, go for a run, because it's going to be really steamy hot for the next couple of days. Just keep that in mind. We'll have more details on that in a moment. But first, your ride in from Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, so far so good for pretty much everybody out there right now, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Scott Credit Union. The highways look good coming in from out west 70 from the Warrenton area through Wright City on beyond that point. Southbound 61 on to 64, 70. It all looks good coming out of St. Charles County for you, coming down up from the south side, 55. That run up through 141 to the Merrimack, where you usually see slow going. Not enough volume to do it yet. I do see some slow going downtown. You know, another construction areas, these collector distributor lanes on westbound 64 or 55, 64, actually, between 3rd Street and Route 3. So there is slow traffic right now from right as you approach the Kingbridge exit into that construction area. So just be advised of that. But it looks good on 64 at Fairview Heights, 159, and 5570 between 255 and 203 still on the move. Next update is 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Upgrade your summer ride with auto loan rates as low as 3.99% APR at Scott Credit Union. New or used, Scott Credit Union helps you love your ride and your rate. Learn more at scu.org. Rates vary, terms and conditions apply.
Heat advisory from noon through 10 p.m. AccuWeather real field temperatures topping 100. It's going to be hot and humid this afternoon, partly cloudy, warm and sticky, low 77 tonight. And tomorrow, maybe even hotter. A high of 96, real feels over 100, says AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. It'll be sunny, breezy, and very hot tomorrow. Currently, it's 75 downtown.
The news continues at 6:22. Tensions are high in Festus over a recall effort tied to a proposed data center. KMOX's Michael Calhoun called up one of the organizers, Lori Merriman, after last night's meeting came to an end with the recall effort stalled.
Lori, kind of lay out for me. It seemed like, first of all, there was a lot of public comment, and what was on the agenda tonight was the set of resolutions regarding the recall for the mayor and the 3 council members, right?
Correct. And during the public comments, just about everybody that spoke recited the Missouri statute that mandates a vote be put on the ballot for the recall of the 4 council members. And after that was done, there was some, just regular city business going on, but then they finally got to the resolutions for the 4. And Brian Malone, the city attorney, said that he had made a recommendation to the council members, but he was not allowed to say it publicly. But when Rick Belleville asked for it to be made public, and they all voted 7-0 to make it public. So basically what he said was that in his findings, the recall petitions were not sufficient and that the council can vote them down. And he recommended a no vote on the recall petitions. And so clearly every single one of them voted it down. So everybody's remaining in their positions right now, but Festus is not done fighting.
Did the 4 who were newly elected, did they all vote to put the resolution through, and then the 3 voted no? Did the mayor have to break a tie? No,
it should have gone that way, and they should have gone through because it would have been 4-3. The mayor only gets to vote in the tie, and he couldn't vote on his own recall. But one of the new council members, Alan McCarthy, voted no on the resolutions.
Did he explain why?
He said that it was on the recommendation of the attorney, but people were not happy, as you can imagine.
What have you been told about why the city's been advised legally to reject this?
They said that the reasons for recall were not specific enough, but you only get 200 words on the petitions to put why you wanted the recalls go through.
What was the reaction, or how do community members feel when they see council members rejecting putting their own recall on the ballot?
Well, the reaction, as you can imagine, was very loud and sometimes very heated. People were not happy. There was a lot of work that went into these recalls. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. The county clerk certified them. She certified the signatures. So the fact that the people that are actually being recalled can vote on their own recall is absurd.
Can you catch people up on what's at issue here in Festus? They may have heard generically data centers, a lot of fronts in that across the region, though. What specifically is the flashpoint, and what has people so upset in Festus?
It's been the lack of transparency on the data centers. Again, the hidden agendas, not putting things on the agendas for the people to hear, but putting them behind closed doors, usurping sunshine laws by not having a quorum, by doing secret meetings, by disparaging the residents, I could go on. And we have all the sunshine documents that show that absolutely they violated all of this stuff.
Have you ever seen anything galvanize, not just galvanize, but across, where people live, what political beliefs they have, how they approach development? It seems like this is something that's fairly unifying.
Correct. It was. And this is nonpartisan. This is, people from all walks of political views, all religions, just a community coming together to try and save our community, especially the residents that live close to the data center proposed site.
Well, Lori, what happens from here? Do you have to go to court to try to get these on the ballot?
Well, what I understand is that we have to file a writ in mandamus to get it up to the court, so to compel them to do their job. So that would be the next step.
It's 6:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
So Ryan and I came to the decision to get life insurance when I was pregnant with our first son. He really wanted us to be taken care of if something happened to him. He provided for our family in life and also after his death. I think that would make him proud. Ethos makes it fast and easy to get life insurance. Apply in minutes and get same-day coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit. Okay, rock star. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Mizzou football will be here before you know it. Join us for the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium with season tickets. Join the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist and get ready to lock in tickets for 2026. The home schedule is highlighted by games against Florida, Texas A&M, Texas, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. Don't wait to reserve your spot. Join the waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It is 6:30 and we have a cloudy start to the day. It is 74 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand. A few issues out there. Overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, downtown, Tom, I mentioned the last report about this road work that started, well, it's supposed to have started yesterday. I'm not sure if it actually did or not because of the weather, but they're out there this morning. The collector distributor lanes between 3rd Street and Route 3 are shut down, and the ramps in that stretch are shut down as well. It's a 3-week situation. I think it runs 2 weeks, runs through the 20th is what it was scheduled to be. So we're seeing backups now on 5570 approaching 64 and 64 from Ball Avenue up to that 3rd Street restriction. So again, the left lanes are the ones that are available. There's restrictions in those right lanes. So there is a jam there. And I'm seeing delays. I can't see a problem, but it's starting to bog down on eastbound 64 midway in from 364 to Winghaven. And it remains heavy about midway from there into K. And they also have an injury crash reported. I'm not seeing any problems yet. Westbound Highway 70 at the 31-mile marker in Metro East, and they've dispatched EMS for that one. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a very hot and humid, very steamy couple of days. So just take it easy if you are out and about. We will have some thunderstorms moving through later on Thursday, and that's going to cool things down for Friday and Saturday. So we'll be back in the mid-80s. In the meantime, though, it's going to feel like it's hotter than 100 degrees today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Today, we could see a thunderstorm in places this morning, but then some sunshine. So it'll just be steamy 92 degrees. Again, it'll feel hotter than 100. It's 74 right now.
Don't wait to apply for help if you've been harmed by St. Louis's dumped radioactive waste.
Thousands of Missourians sickened by nuclear contamination can still apply for federal compensation, and Senator Josh Hawley is urging them not to delay on it. The federal government has now topped $100 million in payouts under the expanded Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. The law covers people who lived, worked, or attended school near Coldwater Creek or Weldon Spring in St. Louis and St. Charles counties. Those are areas contaminated by uranium left over from the Manhattan Project. Payments under the law are typically a lump sum of $50,000. One constituent from St. Charles wrote to Hawley, quote, "The RECA payment is helping with paying for my cancer treatment that Medicare doesn't cover," end quote. Hawley says tens of thousands more Missourians may still be eligible and have not yet filed. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Canadian auto workers say the stakes are high as they head into contract talks this month with the Detroit 3. We get more from Jeff Gilbert in Detroit.
Tariffs make those stakes particularly high as Unifor, which represents the auto workers in Canada, looks to protect jobs while also winning wage gains. While the current contracts don't expire until September, Unifor has already picked Ford as the lead company. That lets them set the pattern because Ford has continued with promised investments. The talks begin June 22nd. The Detroit 3 currently have about 18,000 workers in Canada.
Another film has begun shooting in St. Louis, taking advantage of the new state tax incentives. Kelly Hyatt, the director of the St. Louis Film Office, says Love on the Hill will be set and filmed in St. Louis's Hill neighborhood and is the first of 3 movies set to film here this summer. She says the film industry could snowball in St. Louis, with more movies laying the groundwork for future productions.
So we can continue to build the infrastructure for these productions coming in. So it's one thing to have them come in and shoot their movie, but then that's another thing to actually build infrastructure to support that. And that's just a gift that keeps on giving for our local economy.
She says they have exhausted all the film tax incentives for this year and hopes Jefferson City lawmakers expand the cap to allow for more in the future.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It is 6:34. Coming up next, your Money Minute from Bloomberg.
All access with Ollie Marble on the Gas House Gang.
I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group. This group fits my personality to a T. I love what we're doing. I love how we're going about it. I love the honest conversations. I love the grit. And there's been certain times where I've caught myself where bases are loaded, our backs up against the wall, and I can't help but smile. I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group.
Ollie Marble, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Story, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Story Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
It's time for our Money Minute, and it's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. America is getting a bit more nervous about the job market. According to a survey from the New York Fed, people's confidence in finding a job hit its lowest point of the year in May. This is even as the U.S. added 172,000 jobs last month in a blowout report that topped Wall Street expectations. Turning to trading, Israel and Iran agreed to stop attacks that was jeopardizing talks to end the war in the Middle East. Now in its 4th month, the war has raised concerns about global inflation. S&P futures are up 32 points, Dow futures rising 135. And the Hollywood drama continues. Paramount Skydance is said to have offered a list of concessions it's willing to make so it can buy Warner Brothers Discovery. Paramount has pitched suggested terms to resolve an antitrust investigation by California and other states. However, our sources didn't specify what concessions the company was willing to make. Paramount says it continues to engage with regulators. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
The legendary Fast Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air and St. Louis baseball legend Jason Isringhausen.
Izzy, what's going on, man?
And you know what, Eddie boy, I've been pretty busy. Got to get out there and got to do the mowing.
Yep, I'll tell you what, when you get done mowing the grass.
Well, I do my best Forrest Gump impression with all of that mowing I have to do around the property.
Do it for St. Louis, do it.
Like Mama said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, except at Fast Eddie's Bon Air. What are we going to get at Fast Eddie's?
Let me get it right. You can come on over to Fast Eddie's Bar Bon Air, located on the other side of Clark Bridge in beautiful Alton, Illinois. When you're done mowing the grass, come over here and lounge around with me on the beautiful outdoor patio with all the big screens, the live music playing, the hot chick on a stick.
What about that fancy surf and turf you came up with?
Man, I'm telling you what, that is meat and seafood on one stick. And it's called the Eddie. It's the king of all foods.
Like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, come on over to that Clark Bridge and come see Fast Eddie's Bon Air in beautiful Alton, Illinois.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Ali Marmol, Cardinals manager, will be joining us from New York today. Today's his day on the Gas House Gang with Bernie Nicholas and Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're doing all right out there. A little busy, of course, downtown right now. This traffic reports the service of Artistic Decks. That's westbound 64. We've got that roadwork going on past 3rd Street. The collector distributor lanes, the right-hand lanes are restricted there. So it's back in traffic up onto 5570, which is back at about Exchange. Northbound Route 3 busy. Monsanto up to the Poplar Street Bridge at this time. That crash is reportedly in the median. That's why I'm not seeing any delays. It's on Highway 70 just before the Highland Pier exit. Traffic still looks fine through the area, so it doesn't look like they have any lanes blocked there, thankfully. Still have delays on eastbound 64, bogged down, approaching Wing Haven. It opens up before you even get midway into Case, so it's looking better now than it did 10 minutes ago. And northbound 270, north of Doherty Ferry up through Manchester, a little busy. Eastbound 30, Mauer Industrial to 270 looks kind of slow as well. Next update is 650 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Artistic Decks. For 26 years, we've been making dreams affordable in the St. Louis area. With an A-plus BBB rating, we're the team you can trust. Let us build your dream deck. Artistic Decks. For a free consultation, call us at 314-280-0821.
641, let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. I was heading out the door this morning, Joe, and my back door window in my house was completely steamy. I didn't even want to go outside, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, it's very steamy outside right now. The flood watch has been discontinued at this point in time, but the heat advisory, that goes into effect at noon through 10 p.m. And don't be surprised if that's reissued for tomorrow and again on Thursday, because the next 3 days are going to be gruesome. Unlike anything we've seen so far in 2026, it'll be the first time we've got the 90. We'll do that this afternoon. Thunderstorms are now east of the metro area, and there's just a shower in spots to the west. This is going to fall apart. And then with some sunshine, we go up to 92. It's going to feel like it's closer to 100 this afternoon. Tonight, uncomfortably warm and sticky, partly cloudy skies, though 77. Sunshine for the most part tomorrow, breezy, very hot and humid, the high 96. About the same on Thursday, maybe even close to that record of 98 from 1933. Now, late Thursday and Thursday night, strong thunderstorms will rip through the area. There's a good threat for severe weather, unfortunately. Behind them, though, sunshine and lower humidity and cooler weather for Friday, the high 84. Clouds increase Saturday, the high 86, maybe another thunderstorm or two Saturday night. Currently 76 at St. Peter's, 77 in Florissant, 78, lots of clouds and muggy downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Sports in 2 minutes at 6:43. Nick Reiner, son of Rob Reiner, is seeking funds from a trust his parents established. He says he needs the money for his defense against charges that he killed them. His attorneys filed a petition Monday in Los Angeles County Court saying trustees have unjustly denied him access to the funds. Nick Reiner has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of murder. He retained a high-profile lawyer, but funding issues led to the lawyer's withdrawal. The trust, established in 1993, was supposed to provide Reiner with funds at ages 30 and 35, but he says he never received them.
A report by Florida police has found that professional wrestling legend Hulk Hogan died of natural causes last year. Those findings formally closed the investigation into his death. The Clearwater Police Department releasing a 72-page report summarizing an exhaustive review of statements, medical records, surveillance footage, and a visual inspection of the body. Hogan, whose real name was Terry Bollea, died last July at the age of 71. Family members told investigators Hogan had been suffering from multiple health issues in the weeks before his death, including leukemia, an irregular heart rhythm, pneumonia, and kidney failure. He had also undergone many hospitalizations and surgeries in the years before his death.
Backlash in college football after a judge cleared a star quarterback to play this upcoming season, even though he admitted to gambling on games. Georgia's athletic director has requested that the school's coaches stop scheduling games against Texas Tech. ABC's Sophie Flay has more.
Texas Tech QB Brendan Sorsby sued the NCAA after Texas Tech deemed him ineligible to play. Court documents show he admitted betting at least $90,000 on sports over 4 years, including dozens of bets on Hoosiers games while he was at Indiana University. But his lawyer says Sorsby never bet on a game he played in. And his lawyer frames the gambling as a mental health and addiction issue, arguing the NCAA is obligated to consider Sorsby's well-being and support him rather than punish him.
It's 6:45. Who's Hot, Who's Not? Sponsored by St. Louis Composting, Growing Gardens, and Making Memories. Let's start things off with the Cardinals transaction that they will make official today. Victor Scott II, hitting just 194, will be optioned to AAA Memphis. He did not make the trip to New York with the team as the Cardinals play the Mets tonight at 6:10 at Citi Field. In his place is another good defensive player. I know Scott gets a lot of attention for his defense, and rightfully so, but this guy is not too shabby. Here's the call.
The flags in center field.
There's a line drive to right field. Church moving towards the line, and he makes a diving catch. He lays out. Oh, my goodness. Nathan Church laid out in the right field corner. If he doesn't catch that ball, Witt's on third base at least, but he saves a run, gets an out, and the crowd loves it.
Nathan Church, he has one of the best arms in the organization as well, and he hit a home run in his final rehab assignment for AAA Memphis. He's expected to be activated today and go right into the outfield. Lars Nootbaar has played a little center, but mostly will be playing left field. Your right fielder, of course, is Jordan Walker. As that outfield should be set, Scott will have to work his way back, trying to figure out different ways to get on base and get the barrel on the baseball a little bit more. As the Cardinals will play the Mets tonight, be careful of the Mets here. I know they are in last place in the NL East, but they're starting to play a little bit better. The Cardinals have played really well lately. They've won 4 in a row, but they can't catch the Brewers. They're 5.5 out in the NL Central. The Brewers won an epic game last night, 15-14 in Las Vegas against the A's. The Cardinals are 5.5 back. They have second place all to themselves in the Central, with the Pirates and the Cubs both 8 back, and the Reds lost again. They've lost 5 in a row. They're 3 games under 500. They are 10.5 out. The Mets have won 7 of their last 10, but they are still bringing up the rear in the NL East with a miserable 29-36 record. The New York Knicks have lifted everyone's spirits in New York City, it seems, but they lost last night, 115-111 at Madison Square Garden. Game 3 of the NBA Finals goes to the San Antonio Spurs. Knicks still lead that series 2-1. Mizzou and SLU officially announced their 3-game series. It'll begin on November 6th at Enterprise Center. Yesterday was also the first practice for the Billikens, and they have a deep, talented, physical, athletic team with some local highlights. Sheik Pearson and Jamison White, young players who are improving this front court for Coach Josh Schertz.
Yeah, it's great to have 3 guys on the team from St. Louis. I think that's such a big piece. It's one of the great things about coaching here is how good the basketball is locally. And then we talk about the Missouri game, speaking to our program, but the fact that both Sheik and JMO decided to come home, I think speaks to what last year's team did. It speaks to the fans and what they did in terms of the support and environment they created at Chaffetz.
Pearson and White, that third front court player in St. Louis, and of course would be Kellen Thames, who is part of the returnees that make the Billikens a team that will be in some people's top 25 to start the season. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Billikens and the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
This is Jordan Walker. Celebrate Black Heritage Day, presented by your quality Ford dealers on Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium. This special culture and community event honors the impact, history, and legacy of the Black community in baseball and beyond. With a special themed ticket, you'll receive an exclusive Cardinals jersey designed by Corey Rogers. And don't miss a special heritage celebration in Budweiser Terrace before the game. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
The weekend starts at Busch Stadium. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou. With $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at cardinals.com.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark, $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now, cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 6:51. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The biggest delays we have right now, Debbie, are downtown in the work zone in the Illinois side. This traffic reports the service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, 5564 westbound, actually, beginning just past the King Bridge, 3rd Street. Those collector distributor lanes, the right lanes over to Route 3 are restricted. So that's back in 64 up at Ball Avenue and 5570 back pretty close to 203. Other delays, if you're on eastbound Highway 70, you look good coming out of Wentzville, but 64 is kind of slow both sides of Winghaven. Northbound 270. North of Big Bend through Doherty Ferry, picks up the pace before you get to Manchester. Eastbound 30, Mauer to 270, kind of slow going up the hill. 55 looks good coming into downtown, and there's just a hint of a slowdown on eastbound 70. Now, this was a crash in the median, but eastbound 70 just past the Highland Pier on exit, so I don't believe there's any lane blockage, but just pay attention as you head through that area. Go over to Door Company of St. Louis for their 26-point tune-up. It's one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast from Joe Lundberg. It's going to be hot. There's no other way around it. Heat advisory from noon through 10 p.m. And it is going to be a high of 92, but real field temperatures topping 100, says Joe. It'll be warm tonight, low 77. It's just all that humidity that we have to deal with. Tomorrow, hot and humid in the afternoon, high 96. Currently, it's 76 downtown.
It is going on 6:53. The Athletes Unlimited Softball League kicks off its second season today, expanding from 4 teams to 6 and anchoring into permanent home cities for the first time. Portland, Salt Lake, Austin, Chicago, Oklahoma City, and Durham. The league held its first ever college draft this winter, pulling directly from the pool of stars coming out of the Women's College World Series. Former Miami Marlins GM Kim Ng says the league's commissioner, says what sets these players apart isn't just what they do on the field.
These young women are incredible talents. And through I think just their genuine personalities and obviously their unbelievable elite skills, we expect them to help us in our markets as we as we play our games there, as our season goes on.
The Chicago Bandits are the closest AUSL team to St. Louis. Their home schedule runs through July.
Broken speaker, finicky zipper. A growing trend is repair cafes, urging you to fix it instead of pitch it. Here's ABC's Chuck Sivertson.
It's part of a new brand of what's called anti-consumerism, efforts to offer an alternative to mass-produced, disposable goods that have dominated the economy for the last half-century. Repair cafes are free events where volunteers with technical know-how help neighbors fix household items. They started in the Netherlands with a single cafe in 2009 and grew to a global nonprofit. At a recent event in New Paltz, New York, volunteers helped attendees fix items from lamps and knives to sound mixers and bulky zippers.
108 volunteer fire departments across Missouri have received more than $1.4 million combined to buy needed equipment. Thanks to a one-time state grant, State Fire Marshal Tim Bean tells MissouriNet those grants were reserved for fire departments with annual budgets of $50,000 or less.
The opportunity to buy equipment, replace equipment, because it does all wear out. Your turnout gear has what we call a shelf life. Manufacturers say you should replace it every 10 years, but a lot of departments can't do that.
Turnout gear is the heavy-duty clothing, boots, and helmets worn by firefighters. Those grants were also used to purchase fire hoses, power tools, radios, and breathing equipment.
St. Louis is my beat. That's the topic of Johnny Rabbit's talk later this morning for Oasis at the Clayton Rec Center. It's a look at life in the 20th century. All attendees will enjoy Ted Drews and air conditioning.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
A trio of actors today celebrating a birthday. Michael J. Fox is 65 today. Johnny Depp is 63. And Natalie Portman is 45.
If you have a birthday or anniversary you would like announced during this segment, email it to totalam@kmox.com, totalam@kmox.com. Make sure to include the date you want it announced. Happy birthday wishes going out to Bridget McClellan, Dave Irvin, Scott and Sonia Nordmo are celebrating an anniversary. That's from the Life Group. And happy 39th anniversary to Kelly and Tim Adams from Mom and Dad Adams.
This is the best birthday ever.
I want to tell you about Anheuser-Busch and their great experiences, including taking a tour of the Anheuser-Busch brewery experience. It really is great. That is one. Now, you can combine that with live music, food, and World Cup soccer watch parties. Oh, yeah. This is the best Team USA in the FIFA World Cup with an ice cold beer in your hand. No better place to do both of those things, of course, than the beer garden at Anheuser-Busch. We just hosted KMOX listeners there with an event with Ozzie Smith, Matt Adams, and Al Raboski. It was a huge success. I was very impressed with the staff at the beer garden. They have a huge TV, a big video screen that everyone can see. Every seat in the house is great. Of course, the beer is fresh and as cold as you can find it. Bring your crew early, take a brewery tour, listen to some live music, settle in for the action. Here are the dates. Friday, 8 p.m., USA versus Paraguay. They're going to do the same thing the following Friday, June 19th at 2 p.m. when the U.S. takes on Australia. And then the USA against Turkey on June 25th. That's a Thursday night at 9 p.m. Anheuser-Busch, the beer garden.
Your health story is shaped by more than genetics. Everyday choices like nutrition, physical activity, sleep, tobacco use, and routine screenings all play a role in your future health. Seidman Cancer Center's Your Disease Risk helps you understand how family history and lifestyle work together, offering personalized insights to support healthier decisions. Knowing your risks today can help protect your tomorrow. Visit seidman.washu.edu/YDR.
Birthday sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Here's Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the biggest delays we have are downtown right now with this construction that started, I guess, late yesterday. It was scheduled to start yesterday, but I know the weather pushed things back. It's scheduled to run through the 20th on westbound 64 or 55-64. The collector distributor lanes, those right lanes west of the King Bridge over to Route 3, are restricted. And because of that leaves limited options there. Only the left lanes are open at that split. 55-70 is a solid jam at 203 right now, and 64 is a solid jam just west of 25th Street. Northbound 270 coming through Doherty Ferry up the hill toward Manchester slow. Eastbound 64 east of 364 past Winghaven heavy. From the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
Down in waters off Oman near the Strait of Hormuz, an American Apache helicopter. ABC President Trump speaking last night.
The pilots are fine, yeah.
And
nobody injured. Brought it down? We are going to issue a report tomorrow, but the pilots are fine, yeah.
Sources tell ABC News a U.S. Navy drone was used to rescue the pilots. No word on why the chopper went down. More cases of the New World screwworm now confirmed. They've been found in cows and a goat in Texas and a dog in New Mexico. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins.
The food supply system remains intact and couldn't be safer or better than any other food supply system in the world.
Voters in Maine hit the polls today, and the country is watching the Democratic Senate primary. Frontrunner Graham Plattner under fire amid recent accusations of abusing an ex. Projections in the LA mayor's race now say it'll be Karen Bass against Nithya Raman in the runoff. This is ABC News. Backlash in college football after a judge cleared a star quarterback to play this coming season, even though he admitted to gambling on games. Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby admitted to betting at least $90,000 on sports over 4 years, including dozens of bets on Indiana games when he was playing for Indiana University.
Georgia's athletic director has requested coaches at the school to stop scheduling games with Texas Tech. And Kansas State's athletic director saying every other sport, no matter the level, deems an athlete ineligible or they are punished severely for betting on their team. Sorsby responding, saying, "This opportunity comes with a responsibility to remain focused on my personal growth and to be able to use my situation to help others going forward."
ABC Sophie Flay. Pope Leo celebrating Mass today at Barcelona's famous Sagrada Familia Basilica. He is coming from Montserrat, where he visited a medieval monastery on a mountaintop where its Black Madonna is widely revered. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 7:02, and right now we've got cloudy skies at 75 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We are in a heat advisory from noon through 10 p.m. And AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg will give you the forecast coming up in just about 10 minutes. The fight to recall Festus's mayor and council members is now likely headed to court. Council members refused to put their own recalls on the ballot, siding with City Attorney Brian Malone, who ruled the petitions legally insufficient. But organizers tell KMOX they're not letting it go.
The statute was very clear that they should have put it on a special election ballot.
That's recall organizer Lori Merriman.
We have to file a writ in mandamus to get it up to the court. So to compel them to do their job.
A writ of mandamus asks a judge to order the recall onto the ballot. After 9 months, she calls the council's refusal a slap in the face. The council says it was following its attorney's advice.
We're getting more information from Shrewsbury police about the 8 fights that broke out at a shopping plaza there Sunday afternoon.
Approximately 350 kids were there for an event at Sky Zone, which was already full. Police say tempers flared quickly in the 90-degree temperatures, and when they arrived, the kids scattered to stores like Aldi and Walmart and My Place restaurant, where they allegedly came in and threatened customers and employees. Most stores were forced to close for the day. Several juveniles were detained and released to parents. One 12-year-old girl was found with a butcher knife. She allegedly told police she Ubered to the area from Florissant when she saw the fights on social media. No injuries were reported. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
I'm Michael Calhoun. After Sunday's Sky Zone chaos with the suspects released to their parents and the same thing happening with other teens after similar situations, when are juveniles generally held and when are they released? Attorney and longtime prosecutor Rachel Smith tells KMOX by law, the circuit attorney can't even touch a juvenile case unless a judge sends it there, and she says that's rare.
It's easy to focus on the circuit attorney's office, the CAO, simply because they're sort of what everybody thinks of in terms of prosecution in the city. But candidly, they're the last resort for situations involving juveniles.
Smith says while the caseload is heavy in juvenile court, which can slow hearings, she emphasizes that kids are not released because of a backlog. It's because of a points formula of their age and history, as well as the rehabilitation focus of state law. But last year, St. Charles County did decide to hold juveniles charged with felonies, regardless of how many points they have.
We are also hearing from Sky Zone this morning. The company tells KMOX it's Shrewsbury Park, a franchise that's independently owned, hit capacity during the promotion on Sunday and began turning people away. According to Sky Zone, that's when a crowd built up outside while staff kept things running safely inside. The company says it's grateful for how fast local police responded.
Missouri voters will see what's being called less confusing language for the state income tax phase out on the August ballot. This after the state Supreme Court declined the case Monday, leaving the Western Appeals Court's version in place. Amendment 5 asks voters whether to phase out the state income tax and expand sales taxes in order to replace that money. House Speaker John Patterson says it would reduce reliance on income taxes, while Scott Charton with Missourians for Fair Taxation calls it an everything tax.
The everything tax that Amendment 5 enables is going to cost you from cradle to grave, from the service of the midwife to the service of the mortician. Amendment 5 is a bait and switch. It's a power grab by politicians, and Missourians are going to see through it.
Missourians for Fair Taxation is backed in large part by the Missouri Association of Realtors.
A new romantic comedy has begun shooting on the Hill this week.
Love on the Hill takes place in St. Louis's historic Italian-American neighborhood, centered around a social media influencer and a minor league baseball player. Director of the St. Louis Film Office, Kelly Hyatt, says with Love on the Hill and 2 other productions set to film this summer, they have already exhausted the film tax incentive.
That is a bad thing for productions wanting to come here, but it's a good story for us to tell as we go back into our legislative session to potentially work on either getting a higher cap to our incentive.
Hyatt says as more films come to St. Louis and they build the infrastructure they require, it will continue to attract more and more productions. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
We're going to check the roadways for you and the weather as well. We do have a heat advisory that's in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. So we'll have more details on that. Stay with us at 7:07. This is Total Information AM.
City SC's Summer of Soccer, presented by Purina, kicks off on Friday, June 12th with the biggest soccer celebration in St. Louis. This festival-style watch party on Lou Hughes Plaza at Energizer Park is free for all and open to the public. Show up at 5 p.m. for live music, local food and drink, giveaways, special appearances, and a live viewing of USA versus Paraguay on 5 massive screens. Learn more at summerofsoccerstl.com.
Things in Washington, D.C. may seem unsettled at times by their lack of progress. But one department in the U.S. government is progressing. That is the IRS. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS is in full function to collect on unpaid taxes. If you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and get it resolved. Don't think the government is too busy to focus on my issues. Too many of my clients thought the same. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Lance Story Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Or call 314-260-6120 or visit LandStoryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Spring is here. Hi, this is Tim Gamma.
And I'm Tom Gamma.
When it comes to tree care, call the name you can trust. Gamma Tree Experts, founded by our dad, Frank Gamma, in 1954.
Frank will be 91 this year, and the third generation of Gammas have joined the business.
Call our team of certified arborists to inspect your trees and shrubs today. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Now in our 72nd year.
For pruning, fertilization, and removal, call Gamma Tree Experts today or visit us at gammatree.com.
Your trees deserve the best care.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's 7:09. Roger Brand, what's the latest? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we got a crash reported now on eastbound 44, about midway in from Highway 50 or Highway O to 100 Washington. I'm starting to see a little slowdown in the area there, so be advised. I don't believe there's injuries, but I don't know for sure. I haven't heard the EMS call out for it yet. Northbound 270, Clayton Road overpass up to 64. That's kind of slow. Eastbound 64, approaching Winghaven, midway into Highway K is heavy. It looks like we have an incident on westbound 270 right near Missouri Bottom, blocking. I can't tell if it's a stall or a crash, but traffic's starting to bog down or back up as you approach McDonald Boulevard. Southside traffic doesn't look bad. 55 looks great coming up from Festus. On the Illinois side, westbound 64, you've got that little slowdown right through 159, and then you've got, this road work going on. Westbound 64 west of 3rd Street, the right lane's closed. 64 is jammed. Approaching Baugh Avenue, and 5570 is jammed just west of 203. Up past that point currently. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We've got a heat advisory from noon through 10 tonight. A straight morning thunderstorm, then clouds will give way to some sunshine later today. A hot and humid afternoon, our high 92 in AccuWeather real field temperatures can get over 100. Partly cloudy, warm and muggy tonight, though 77. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, a breezy, very hot, humid afternoon, the high 96. With real feels again exceeding 100. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we do have cloudy skies, and it's 75 degrees.
It's 7-Eleven. For decades, Steve Holly helped build one of St. Louis's most beloved charitable traditions. As executive director of Guns N' Hoses, Holly oversaw the annual Thanksgiving Eve boxing match pitting police against firefighters to raise money for the Backstoppers. Steve Holly died Monday at the age of 70. Under his leadership, the event grew from a regional tradition into a nationally recognized model for first responder philanthropy, raising more than $13 million since 1987. Former St. Louis County Police Chief Ron Battelle spent 2 decades leading the Backstoppers alongside Holly.
He was wonderful to the families, the children. He was there with us whenever we needed him, and he was a wonderful man.
In recent years, the event has topped $1 million in donations annually. No cause of death has been released.
An American pilot and co-pilot killed when their private plane made an emergency landing in the Dominican Republic. The two had been on their way to pick up Yadier Molina and his family and friends in Texas. It's not known what caused the crash. No one else was on board. Molina posted on social media, "My condolences to the pilots and their families."
It's 7:12. Today, the city of St. Louis will hold what they hope to be their final public hearing on the Rams settlement bill. Activists have been pressuring city officials to increase the funding for North City from $110 million to $150 million. Amendments can be made during the hearing by aldermen on the Housing and Urban Development Committee. Last year, amendments to the previous proposal on how to spend the Rams settlement funds caused a compromise to collapse, with the bill failing on the floor of the aldermanic chambers. The meeting begins today at 11.
The ongoing Middle East oil blockade is affecting Cuba's energy crisis.
Many of Cuba's iconic gas-guzzling antique cars are sitting idle. That's a symbol of the island's ongoing fuel crisis. Since January, the U.S. blockade has starved the island of fuel. Cuba is experiencing one of its most severe energy crises in years. Auto body shop owner Diriel Valdez says it's affected his business. He says, "It is affecting me a lot because people don't want to do major repairs anymore because they don't have much hope that they'll be circulating the way they used to." Valdez is among thousands of Cubans waiting for fuel through a government reservation app that, for many, has become a symbol of the shortages it was designed to manage. The population, which was already battered by decades of economic crises and shortages, is now navigating daily blackouts that can last up to 20 hours in some parts of the island. Diriel says, "Hopefully, the fuel situation will get a lot better. We'll see." I'm Haya Panjwani.
When it comes to the best cities for staycations, St. Louis ranks 4th in the nation, according to the latest Wallet Hub list. St. Louis finished behind just 3, Orlando, Cincinnati, and Las Vegas. That is the highest ranking, and it comes in the food and entertainment category, 2nd in the nation. I feel like this should be getting more attention than it is. Chicago ranked 9th, and the survey evaluated more than 180 cities across the country. Now, I have poked at Wallet Hub through the years, but I lift them up on a pedestal.
Hey,
for
this
one.
is a great town for a staycation.
Absolutely, man. That is very, very cool.
Yeah, if you're sitting at home and you're like, there's nothing to do, you just are not trying hard enough.
No, you're not. And I know it's hot out there today and tomorrow and Thursday, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of great air condition and free opportunities for your kids in this area. It's 7:15. Cardinals are out of town. They are in New York. They're taking on the Mets tonight. 6:10 start from Citi Field. We'll have it for you at 5:15 with the pregame. The Cardinals will make this transaction official later today. Victor Scott II, their center fielder, has been optioned to AAA Memphis, and they are going to activate Nathan Church. We talked about it on the Gas House Gang with MLB Network host Greg Amsinger. Greg, I mean, the Vic Scott move was coming. We kind of saw that was going to be in the works if Church came back, and that seems to be exactly what's about to go down.
You look, Victor Scott can't be upset, guys, that he didn't get an opportunity. And I say that with a grain of salt because when a big leaguer is hitting 9th every single day, that is a very tough spot to play in. And I've talked to so many big leaguers about that. The game starts your entire life. You've never waited an hour to get your first at bat. It just mounts the pressure on being productive when you get a chance to hit. I think he can't be upset with the organization. The opportunity was there. It's difficult to hit 9th, as so many other players that have done that. Pete Crow Armstrong just recently in Chicago. Jackson Holliday still struggling with that with the Baltimore Orioles. It's real. So I hope he can find his swing again. He won't be batting 9th if they send him down. But it's time for the Cardinals to put their best foot forward.
Cardinals apparently made this decision before they left for New York. Scott did not accompany them to New York. I wonder how many Cardinals thought about or tried to go to Madison Square Garden last night. It was apparently $10,000, maybe as low as $8,000 just to get in the building for Game 3 of the NBA Finals. The Knicks lost the game 115-111 to the San Antonio Spurs, who now trail the Knicks 2-1 in the NBA Finals. It's official. Mizzou and SLU will play a college basketball series at Enterprise Center for 3 years, starting this fall, November 6th, a Friday night at Enterprise Center. Those two will go at it. First time in 25 years that they have faced each other. There was a 3-game series that featured the Dome, Hearn Center, and now Enterprise Center back in the day, and Mizzou won 2 out of 3. SLU has long wanted to face Mizzou in a series, and it was said that Mizzou had balked for years. That's why maybe it was a surprise that the phone call came not from Schertz, but from Gates. Josh Schertz talking about Dennis Gates, the Mizzou coach.
Yeah, I was surprised, but happily surprised, But then it made sense. I mean, you look at it from a broad, like 10,000-foot view on a number of levels. The game makes a lot of sense for both programs. And again, I don't think I said it in the postseason, like Mizzou doesn't owe us anything. And they're not doing it, for like, oh, we're going to throw a bone to St. Louis. They're doing it because it benefits Mizzou. In the ways it's a benefit Mizzou, it also benefits St. Louis. And so it's one of those deals where I think, both programs win, both fan bases will win. And if you're a, St. Louis, the city of St. Louis, the basketball fans, the state of Missouri, I think across the board, it's one of those rare games where I think everybody will wind up a winner. And then the game is, it's one of those ones where both teams, if we're as good as projected, it'll be a great opportunity. Somebody's going to get a great win and somebody's going to get a loss. Doesn't hurt you at all.
They're going to have ticket information available soon for SLU and Mizzou, November 6th at Enterprise Center. Cut of the game sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
There's nothing like hearing your friends and family clearly. A grandchild's laugh, conversation with a friend, or the punchline to a joke. Charlie Brennan here with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler and her team understand that hearing is personal. That's why you'll always work with certified audiologists like Adam Voss, Bailey Campbell, and Dr. Colleen Bosler.
That's right, Charlie. We offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so our recommendations are based on what fits you best. With us, we follow best practice fitting methods to ensure your hearing aids are programmed precisely for your unique hearing needs. But our care doesn't end when you walk out the door. As we know, hearing aids require continued support, adjustments, and maintenance, and we offer these services at no extra cost to you. Because better hearing isn't just about devices, it's about reconnecting to the moments that matter most. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:21 and time to check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we got a couple of crashes out there right now. One of them is the one I mentioned, westbound 270, just past McDonald Boulevard. The right lanes are blocked. So those the ramp-on lanes coming on from McDonald. Traffic's backed up just west of Lindbergh up to that one. And then this crash on eastbound 44, it's about midway between 50 or Highway O and Highway 100 Washington. So there's a jam as you get just past 50 on eastbound 44 up to that scene as well. If you're on eastbound 64, still pretty heavy both sides of Winghaven. Northbound 270, more volume. Approaching Tesson Ferry through Gravois, right around Manchester, Clayton Road, and 64. A couple of brief slowdowns. Doesn't look as bad running through that area. And then on the Illinois side, westbound 64, heavy through 159. And then you've got the roadwork jam from 25th Street to 3rd Street, and 5570 jammed west of 203 at 3rd Street. Those right lanes are shut down for repair work now through the 20th. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Weather-wise, we're looking at a hot, humid day today, a high of 92, but it's going to feel like we're over 100, says AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg, who's put us in a heat advisory from noon through 10 p.m. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm and sticky, low 77. Tomorrow, even hotter, sunny, breezy, hot, humid in the afternoon, a high of 96. Real feels over 100 degrees. Right now, it's 75 and cloudy in downtown St. Louis.
A new romantic comedy, Love on the Hill, is set to begin filming on the Hill. KMOX's Sean Malone spoke with Kelly Hyatt. She's with the St. Louis Film Office talking about what is the movie and what does it entail.
Love on the Hill is a great little rom-com movie that is brought to us by a local producer named Lori Dowd. This is her second film. She's doing back-to-back. She was out in Branson filming a Christmas movie last month, and they're getting the roll cameras here this month. So it's cute. It's a baseball, Italian food, and the hill. What goes wrong with that?
You mentioned that this is the second film that she's done here in the state of Missouri, and that kind of takes me to my next question. How much has the Missouri film tax credit helped with drawing film productions to shoot in St. Louis and across the state?
It is an integral part in the process. When you're bringing a movie to life and actually going for it, tax incentives play a huge role on picking the location in which you're going to film. So yes, we have done a really great job. We're actually depleted our funds for our incentive for the rest of the year. That is a bad thing for productions wanting to come here, but it's a good story for us to tell as we go back into our legislative session to potentially work on either getting a higher cap to our incentive, which we'd love to do, and also extending our sunset. Right now it's scheduled to sunset in 29. We'd really like to push that out into at least 32, 35, so we can continue to build the infrastructure for these productions coming in. So it's one thing to have them come in and shoot their movie, but then that's another thing to actually build infrastructure to support that. And that's just a gift that keeps on giving for our local economy.
What kind of economic impact does that have overall, building and setting up this infrastructure?
When you think of things like sound stages, for example, there's upwards of, 100 plus to 300 people that work there every day. We've got the facilities that are going up across the river. And although that is Illinois, I do believe there will be lots of St. Louis residents that will have gainful and consistent employment working over there.
This is the first of 3 films that are set to be shooting in St. Louis this summer. What can you tell us about the other films?
We've got some other ones that have been approved for the state, for the incentive, and we're really excited about them coming. I'm excited about everything, but don't like to put the cart before the horse. Once the production offices are up and running, then that's something that we can kind of talk a little bit more about. But for right now, we're looking at a very busy summer.
With Love on the Hill, this is a film that isn't just being shot in St. Louis, but is also about St. Louis. What kind of impact could that have on St. Louis trying to change the national reputation it sometimes has of just violence and the St. Louis Cardinals?
The more that we can show, really what St. Louis is all about. And, St. Louis has got all of these beautiful little neighborhoods that are just rich in history, between the Tower Hill area, the Hill, the Grove, all of these areas, really that's the fabric of St. Louis. And so when we can actually show that, up on the screen for people to kind of see that, I think that, that's a win for us. One of the things about St. Louis that we've found just from sitting, at Explore St. Louis at the Convention and Visitors Bureau is the common thread that, St. Louis is one of those places that people just don't really think about. There isn't a bad thing, there isn't a good thing. They're just like, oh, I don't really know that much about it. So stories like Love on the Hill, stories like these other ones that are coming, that's what puts us on the map, and really touches people in an invaluable way. You can't really quantify what it means for a family to be watching something and see a great little neighborhood, and then they decide to come here for vacation. So those types of things are all really, really great for our local economy.
Besides Love on the Hill and the other 2 unnamed productions that are set to begin this summer, how many other films and TV shows are exploring the possibility of shooting in St. Louis?
We actually have a really great docu-series that's in town right now. They came over from the UK. It's the folks behind a really powerful documentary that's actually playing on Netflix right now that's gotten a lot of attention. So they're in town doing that. We've got a really incredible tribute to Chuck Berry. His 100th birthday is coming up in October. So there's a group of people that are doing an incredible docuseries called Hail Hail 100, which will celebrate his birthday with not only the story of his life, his impact on St. Louis, some of his impact in the UK, which really kind of ties with our one-way British Airways flight. So we've got the UK production that's been in town, and they are loving every minute of the nonstop flight and going back and forth. And then we also have this Chuck Berry one. So, it's all really interconnected when you start really talking about it and peeling it all back and how these things can really work together.
That is Kelly Hyatt with Sean Malone. I'm Tom Ackerman. It's 7:28. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
And I want to tell you about the Missouri Athletic Club, mac-stl.org. If you want to browse the Missouri Athletic Club and some of the places that you can rent for your party, for your business meeting, that's right. They can do that for you. Catering and event spaces of the Missouri Athletic Club elevate your next event with exceptional catering services. Whether you're planning a corporate meeting, a wedding reception, a private celebration, a dedicated team of culinary professionals at the Missouri Athletic Club are ready to ensure that your event is unforgettable. You do not have to be a member of the Missouri Athletic Club to throw an event there, with their renowned chefs creating custom menus tailored to your preferences, featuring various gourmet dishes made from the finest ingredients, personalized service from initial planning to final presentation. Their event coordinators will work closely with you. Various sophisticated spaces available at the Missouri Athletic Club, the perfect backdrop for any occasion. Historic charm with modern amenities. That's the MAC. The Missouri Athletic Club, mac-stl.org.
To the decision to get life insurance. When I was pregnant with our first son, he really wanted us to be taken care of if something happened to him. He provided for our family in life and also after his death. I think that would make him proud. Ethos makes it fast and easy to get life insurance. Apply in minutes and get same-day coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
When pain starts to slow you down, BJC Healthcare and WashU Medicine orthopedic specialists are here to help. Nationally recognized leaders in orthopedics deliver care that's informed by research and personalized for you. From everyday aches to complex injuries and recovery, we're here to help you get back to doing what you love. Find an orthopedic specialist today. Visit bjc.org/orthopedics or call 314-362-9355.
It's 7:31 right now. We've got cloudy skies, 76 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, just about 2-3 minutes ago, they cleared that crash in North County. Folks, lanes are back open now. Westbound 270 just past McDonald Boulevard. Still a solid jam for the time being, though, from Lindbergh through McDonald, westbound 270. So hopefully that'll get better pretty quickly. Southbound 61 ramping onto eastbound 70 is a little slow. Eastbound 64 approaching Winghaven midway into Highway K is kind of busy, and then it slows again McKnight to about Big Bend. Northbound 270, 55 to Tesson Ferry, north of 44 to Manchester and Clayton Road up to 64. Those are all slowdowns. It's just slow now. They'll say they may have cleared that crash out of the traffic lane, but still heavy on eastbound 44 east of Highway O, about midway into 100 Washington. And so, again, it was a recent crash. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64, a little slow at 159, but you're jammed. Approaching 25th Street and 5570's jammed at Exchange on through 64 past 3rd Street, just right there near the King Bridge where the lanes split. The right lanes are shut down for road work. Next update is 740 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Very steamy for the next 3 days. Today, tomorrow, and Thursday. The good news is we've got some storms moving through late Thursday night. So Friday and Saturday will be in the mid 80s. Until then, We do have a heat advisory from noon through 10 tonight. It's going to be 92 degrees today. We'll see sunshine and it'll be very humid. It's going to feel like it's 100. That's the same story for tomorrow. 96, it's going to feel like 100 or higher. And then 98 on Thursday. Right now it's 75 degrees.
It's 7:33. The New World screwworm has been detected in a second cow in Texas, prompting more concerns about animal-to-human transmission. KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer reports.
The screwworm is a flesh-eating parasitic fly with the power to decimate livestock. While veterinarian Dr. Ann Hohenhaus says the risk to public health is very low, you should be aware of its signs if you are around animals who have wounds that do not heal, wounds that smell really bad, or have maggots in them.
And if you see any of those things, wound that doesn't heal, little white worms in an injury or wound, or one wound that's not healing, then you should seek veterinary care for your pet. If you see the same thing in yourself, then you should call your physician.
The parasitic flies were eradicated from the U.S. back in the 60s. A human case was confirmed last year in the United States in an international traveler, but that person recovered. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
More than $1.4 million in state grant money has been doled out to small volunteer fire departments to help them purchase new equipment. State Fire Marshal Tim Bean tells MissouriNet what kind of equipment the new grants help pay for.
Turnout gear, extrication equipment, self-contained breathing apparatuses, the SCBA communications, interoperable radios, fire hose, fire nozzles.
The grants were set aside for the current fiscal year, which ends June 30th, made available to volunteer fire departments with annual budgets of $50,000 or less.
Talks between the Detroit Three and Canadian auto workers begin this month, with tariffs very much at the center of negotiations. Jeff Gilbert covers the automotive industry for us from Detroit.
A new product for Stellantis plant in Brampton, Ontario was one of the major issues, as the union is also upset with GM about the idling of a plant in Ingersoll, Ontario, and the elimination of a shift in Oshawa. No cuts yet at Ford. That's why the Canadian union Unifor has chosen them to take the lead. That lets Ford set the pattern. The talks begin June 22nd. The deadline is September 20th.
It is 7:35. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Bloomberg Money Minute is coming up next at 7:35.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
I never thought of myself as the type to settle down. Never knew where the team's next lunch was coming from. But then I met you, Easy Cater.
Workplaces everywhere are saying, I do want delicious food at work. And they're ordering from beloved restaurants with Easy Cater.
You were reliable. You had great options for every budget, even when marketing ops did keto again. We got through that together. With you, it's just so easy. Easy Cater, will you keep showing up at my workplace forever?
Find love at first lunch. Order at easycater.com.
Time for your business report, and it's sponsored this go-round by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute.
The SpaceX IPO is expected to be a market spectacle as investors get a chance to buy into Elon Musk's vision to create a combined space and artificial intelligence powerhouse. It's expected to begin trading on the NASDAQ this Friday. Anticipation is growing for the IPO, which is expected to be the biggest ever, topping Saudi Aramco's $29 billion debut in 2019. Checking on your money, artificial intelligence shares are seeing a second day of gains, sending futures higher. Sentiment is also getting a boost as Israel and Iran agree to end attacks against each other. And Buffalo Wild Wings franchisees want the company to cut back on deals and increase marketing aimed at boosting in-house dining. Sources tell us the discounts are squeezing their profits and causing customers to trade down to cheaper items. The push coincides with preparations by parent company Inspire Brands to go public. Inspire owns a number of restaurant brands from Dunkin' to Arby's. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal. This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank. Building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
With summer here and the kids home full time, your garage door will see a lot more use. Do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Since 1926. They're never going to steer you wrong. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
This is Michael McGreevy. Escape to Margaritaville night at Busch Stadium on Friday, June 26th. Celebrate the legacy of Jimmy Buffett with a special pregame performance by the Boat Drunks. With a special theme ticket, you'll receive a Margaritaville-inspired Cardinals cap. Plus, a portion of each ticket benefits Singing for Change. Kick back, relax, and enjoy a night where it's 5 o'clock somewhere, even at 7:15 first pitch. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
This is Jordan Walker. Celebrate Black Heritage Day, presented by your quality Ford dealers on Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium. This special culture and community event honors the impact, history, and legacy of the Black community in baseball and beyond. With a special themed ticket, you'll receive an exclusive Cardinals jersey designed by Corey Rogers. And don't miss a special heritage celebration in Budweiser Terrace before the game. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenagers gaming won't crash their video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
The summer's finally here, and it's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the summer. Don't let rising gas prices stop you from having a clean and healthy home. Zero Res is keeping comfort affordable with powerful cleaning at a price families can feel good about. Zero Res can handle every surface in your home: carpets, tile, grout, hardwood, laminate, upholstery, rugs, air ducts, and more. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the DGS special.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
7:41 and time for traffic and weather. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We got a jam right now on southbound 61 coming down from Winslow Parkway, getting on to eastbound 70. This traffic reports a service at Chesterfield Fence and Deck, but once you hit eastbound 70, it's a good run all the way into downtown. Eastbound 64, east of 364, backed up to Winghaven, then it starts opening up by the time you get midway into Highway K. It's also slow through the Chesterfield Parkways to Timberlake, east of Lindbergh through the Innerbelt. Northbound 270 from pretty much Tesson Ferry all the way up to Ladue is slow. Eastbound 44 still seeing delays east of Highway 50, Highway O, midway up to 100 Washington. We had a crash. In fact, it looks like the front end of that's starting to back up a bit as opposed to a slowdown. So still may have restrictions there. Westbound 64, heavy at 159, and then it's jammed approaching 25th Street, and 5570 is jammed at Exchange over to 3rd Street right near the King Bridge where those right lanes are shut down for road work. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 20% off your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a hot one. Joe Lundberg, AccuWeather meteorologist. Summer has arrived in St. Louis.
It has indeed. I misspoke earlier. I said that we hadn't gotten to 90 yet. We actually did it twice in March. We had a couple of record hot days on the 22nd where we had 90 degrees, a record for the day, 93 on the 26th. But since then, we've not hit 90. That's about to change. A lot of clouds now. The last of the shower and thunderstorm activity should exit to the east in the next hour or so. Then after that, when the clouds break, it's going to get brutal this afternoon. 92 are projected high, and the AccuWeather real field temperatures could exceed 100. Tonight, partly cloudy, a warm, muggy night, much like it is this morning. 77 or low. Mostly sunny, breezy, even hotter, humid. The afternoon high, 96. Thursday, sunshine mixing with clouds. At least it'll be breezy, but still very hot and humid with a high near that record of 98 from 1933. However, later Thursday and into Thursday night, a couple of strong thunderstorms will come through the area and probably going to produce some hail and damaging winds. Behind them, much quieter, much nicer weather for Friday. Sunshine, less heat, less humidity, the high 84. Some sunshine Saturday, the high about 86. 76 at St. Peter's, 77 in Florissant. Lots of clouds, 79 degrees downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:44. Want to own a drive-in theater? The Skyview Drive-In in Belleville is for sale. Steve Bloomer is the third-generation owner of the outdoor theater that first opened in 1949. He tells the Business Journal that he's looking for the next great steward to carry on the Skyview's legacy. Movies will continue to be shown during the sale process. The almost 14-acre property is listed for $975,000.
All right, we have another nominee in USA Today's 10 Best. You ready?
Lion's Choice, famous for roast beef.
Lion's Choice is making another run at a national title. It needs your help. The local roast beef chain nominated for Best Regional Fast Food in USA Today's 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards. CEO Fred Bermer says this year, the goal is first place after the chain finished third in 2025. Voting opened this morning. It runs through July 6th. Again, this is USA Today's 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards. Winners are announced July 15th. Let's talk some baseball. Ins and Outs sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. The Cardinals are in New York, and the Cardinals are hot right now. They are executing. They are making things happen. They're putting pressure on their opponent, and they are winning ball games. The Cardinals have won 4 in a row. They just swept the Cincinnati Reds. Terry Francona, the manager of the Reds, held a rare players meeting to discuss what happened over the weekend. They just flat out got beat 3 times by the Cardinals, who are surging right now, but they are still holding second place and 5.5 games out in the National League Central. That's because the Brewers are steamrolling people right now and coming back in dramatic fashion, as was the case last night. 15-14, the Brewers beat the A's in Las Vegas. First game in Major League Baseball played in Vegas since 1996, and the Brewers pulled it out 15-14. They've won 4 in a row. Cardinals have won 4 in a row. The Brewers lead the Cardinals by 5.5 games in the Central. The rest of the division is playing catch-up. The Pirates and the Cubs are both 8 back now, and the Reds have lost 5 in a row. They're 3 games under 500 and 10.5 out. The Mets are in last place in the NL East, but they've won 7 of 10. Be careful here. They'll play at home at Citi Field. We'll have it for you at 6:10 on KMOX. With a 5:15 pregame. At that time, we do expect that it will be official that Victor Scott II has been optioned to AAA Memphis. That is a move that goes along with an activation from the injured list. Nathan Church, who hit a home run in his final rehab assignment with Memphis on Sunday afternoon, also plays an excellent center field, and he has a cannon of an arm to go along with it. The Cardinals believe he is healthy and ready to join Lars Nootbaar and Jordan Walker in the outfield. So Scott, who's hitting just 194, is going to have to work on some things, especially the ability to hit the baseball. That has been an issue for him pretty much all season. and for much of his major league career. SLU and Mizzou, it is official. The two are going to go at it on November 6th at Enterprise Center. How did this come about? Here is Billikens coach Josh Schertz.
Yeah, I think came together. Honestly, Dennis reached out to me. I think it's probably a situation where it's a great time for both teams to play. We both programs are in the right place from a trajectory standpoint. I think it's an opportunity in this NIL era. Play the games at Enterprise. We think both fan bases really show out for it. There's a benefit in terms of, for both of us trying to be an NCAA tournament team. I think, you look at that and it's a game with that wins above bubble piece is really big for us and for them. So I think it's really kind of the broad spectrum. There's a lot of reasons. Trajectory of both programs, opportunity to play in the Enterprise Center, which is going to be a tremendous revenue generator for both teams. And then the opportunity, certainly, to build our NCAA tournament resume and have a rivalry that, you go back in 25 years ago. I mean, those games were, epic. And, and so to have a chance to kind of continue that, it's the perfect timing, and appreciate, Dennis reaching out. It was his idea. And, but it was one, once he brought it up, we were gung-ho to do.
Certainly exciting for the players, especially those with St. Louis ties. Here's Kellen Thames.
It's exciting for the city for sure. You got two teams around the area. There's history there for sure. So I'm just excited to, especially for me, because my dad went there. I'm just happy to play my dad's former school. So I know he'll be rooting for me. I know that. So I'm excited for the game for sure.
The Billikens and the Tigers on November 6th at Enterprise Center. Ticket information to come soon. It is Innsbrook Resort, innsbrook-resort.com, where you can get all of the great vacation time with your family and friends. Have you booked a place at Innsbrook yet? If you haven't, there's still plenty of time, and there are plenty of different types of places that you can rent. You can rent for the weekend a nice condo on one of the lakes. You can rent a lake home where you will be in paradise out there. And just 45 minutes from home, most places in St. Louis, about an hour from downtown St. Louis is Innsbrook. It's right off the Wright City exit in Warren County. It is one of the great places in our region, really is. Innsbrook-resort.com to learn all about the different places to rent, the lakes, the fishing, the golf, the neighborhoods that you can visit some other friends who are staying there. You can be all by yourself if you want, because the privacy is amazing at Innsbrook. It really is one of the great places to vacation in the Midwest. Parlay of the day, sponsored by Circa Sports, sports betting the way it should be. Well, the Knicks finally lost a game. I have the Knicks winning it all, and I'm going to stick with that. I said the Knicks in 6, and I'm going to stick with that as well. I thought there was a chance that they could sweep the series if the Spurs were to falter last night, but the Spurs showed up when they had to last night, and Victor Wembanyama was outstanding. He scored 32 points. That said, looking ahead at Game 4, I don't know if the Spurs are going to be able to cover that 2 again. The Knicks will be a 2-point favorite on Wednesday, and I like them -2 to win Game 4. Now, this could well go back to San Antonio, and they could lose that one, then come back to the Garden and win it in 6, as I predicted. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go Knicks -2 in Game 4 and Knicks in 6. Parlay of the day, sponsored by Circa Sports, sports betting the way it should be.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark. $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now. Cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:52 and time to check in with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, you got delays on southbound 61, Debbie, about midway down from Highway P to Wentzville Parkway, getting on to eastbound 70 at that point. 70 from Z through that interchange is also heavy. Eastbound 64 is still bogged down both sides of Winghaven, a little slow at Clarkson and east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. South 170 is busy coming down from Olive. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley's heavy. Southbound 270, 364 to Ladue is slow. North 270 approaching Grabway up to Ladue is busy. Eastbound 44, still seeing that slow traffic east of Highway O, midway into 100 Washington from an earlier crash. It's a little slow passing Bowles Avenue and around the Cleat Station as well. Eastbound 30 backed up at Mauer to 270. If you're on the Illinois side, westbound 64 still a little slow at 159, jammed 25th Street on to 3rd Street, and 5570 is jammed west of 203. Those right lanes are closed west of 3rd Street for road work. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Hot and humid today, Roger. We're looking at a high of 92, but it's going to feel like 100. Partly cloudy, warm and sticky tonight, low 77. Same tomorrow, hot and humid with a high of 96. It's 77 right now.
The top prosecutor in the state of Missouri is warning residents to keep an eye out for a spike in human trafficking with the World Cup soon to start. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway is asking people to be wary of the signs.
If you see someone transporting interstate, a lot of young people that seem to be there under duress, another good sign. If you encounter a young person who's old enough that they should have an ID and maybe a means of payment, but they have nothing, also a good sign.
Hanaway's office is working with the nonprofit It's a Penalty to raise awareness and make it easier to report suspected human trafficking. The number is 833-5, the number 5, be safe.
Don't wait to apply for help if you've been harmed by St. Louis's dumped radioactive waste.
Thousands of Missourians sickened by nuclear contamination can still apply for federal compensation, and Senator Josh Hawley is urging them not to delay on it. The federal government has now topped $100 million in payouts under the expanded Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. The law covers people who lived, worked, or attended school near Coldwater Creek or Weldon Spring in St. Louis and St. Charles counties. Those are areas contaminated by uranium left over from the Manhattan Project. Payments under the law are typically a lump sum of $50,000. One constituent from St. Charles wrote to Hawley, quote, "The RECA payment is helping with paying for my cancer treatment that Medicare doesn't cover," end quote. Hawley says tens of thousands more Missourians may still be eligible and have not yet filed. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
And also in the news this morning, the Illinois Secretary of State saying he's bullish on the city of Chicago, but hasn't decided whether he intends to enter February's election for mayor. Alexei Janulius says he's encouraged by the number of people saying he should run, but notes the city's facing a number of issues.
There's a lot of them. There's affordability, there's public safety, there's a lot going on, which is why this is not an easy decision. But I care deeply about Chicago. I care deeply about public service.
When do you think you'll make the decision?
It's a big decision.
Janulius previously served as state treasurer from 2007 to 2011. Several people have already entered the race, including state comptroller Susanna Mendoza. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson hasn't formally declared whether he'll run for re-election.
It's 7:56.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
What's better than watching Team USA in the FIFA World Cup? Watching it with an ice-cold beer in your hand. And there's no better place to do both of those things than at the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch. We just had a great event there with Ozzie Smith and Matt Adams and Al Raboski, a huge TV. Every seat in the house is great. And, of course, the beer is fresh and the beer is cold. And the beer is $15 for Mick Ultra pitchers, $20 for Ultra buckets, $5 Ultra drafts, and collectible FIFA cups. Bring your crew early. Take a brewery tour. Listen to some live music and then settle in for all the action. Here's the schedule. USA against Paraguay this Friday at 8. USA against Australia next Friday at 2. And USA against Turkey on Thursday, June 25th at 9 p.m. What a great time. BudweiserTours.com. BudweiserTours.com and experience USA soccer at the Beer Garden.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Harmony STL presents Now Playing, featuring the ambassadors of Harmony, Visions of Harmony, the Recruits, and Fleet Street performing the hits that shape generations. Saturday, June 13th, 2 p.m., Two Hill Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets at harmonystl.com. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It looks like we have a crash, Debbie, or a stall going down the hill. It's in the left lane, westbound 64, just as you get past Hanley. So westbound 64 is a solid jam at Hampton. Eastbound 64 slows around Lindbergh coming to it. And eastbound 64 is also heavy at Winghaven and Clarkson into Timberlake. Southbound 61, midway down from P to Wentworth Parkway onto 70 is still backed up as well. North 270, north of Gravois, slow all the way up through Ladue. South 270, 364 through Olive is still heavy. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Megan Lynch is coming up next on Total Information AM on KMOX, and here is what she has for us. Identity crimes have evolved from isolated events into multi-layered crises. Megan with more after KMOX and ABC News.
Michael Calhoun will take a look at the juvenile court system and how it handles teen takeovers.
A filmmaker wanted a story about the St. Paul sandwich, but found out how closely it's tied to the fortunes of St. Louis neighborhoods.
Well, speaking of food, a new food hall concept will be opening on Washington Avenue soon. We'll get all those details coming up.
Well, now you're making me hungry. And vote for Lion's Choice in the USA Today 10 Best while you're at it. The Gas House Gang coming up at noon with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A U.S. Navy drone put to work to save a couple of Army pilots near the Strait of Hormuz. Sources tell ABC News the surface drone was deployed after an Apache attack helicopter went down in the water. The president says both pilots are okay. This, as the president also says, peace negotiations are going well, despite the recent attacks launched by Israel and Iran. President Trump warned Israel's prime minister against doing anything that could hurt the peace effort. Vice President J.D. Vance.
Israel may like that, they may not like that, but fundamentally, we think this is in the best interest of the United States of America, so we're going to keep on pursuing it.
Police in Philadelphia are looking for suspects after a Penn State student was shot and killed near his family home. He was apparently chasing someone who may have grabbed his phone. More cases of the New World screwworm showing up. It devastated in the Texas beef industry in the 70s. 5 cases now confirmed in cattle and a goat in Texas and a dog in New Mexico. This is ABC News. The House Oversight Committee is set to interview Jeffrey Epstein's longtime secretary today. With more of the details on that, here's ABC's Peter Haralambous.
Leslie Groff worked as an executive secretary to Epstein in New York for more than 18 years and was once described by her boss as a, quote, extension of my brain. Among her job requirements, scheduling Epstein's frequent meetings with celebrities, scientists, and politicians, booking Epstein's daily massage appointments when he was in New York, and arranging travel for women linked to Epstein. Through her attorneys, Groff has denied any knowledge of or participation in Epstein's crimes. The House Oversight Committee also plans to interview Bill Gates later this week. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
In Albania, there have been protests going on against Ivanka Trump and her husband Jared Kushner's plans to build a massive coastal development project on an environmentally protected island that Trump says they discovered on a recent vacation. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have cloudy skies, 78 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, June 9th. I'm Megan Lynch. A month-long effort to recall the mayor and several Festus council members is stalled, at least for now.
Malone just said you can't.
At a packed meeting last night, the council refused to put the recall on the August ballot. City Attorney Brian Malone told them the petitions didn't qualify, saying the reasons listed weren't specific enough, so the council voted no.
You lied to me, right to my face.
Even a newly elected councilman whom organizers thought would back it went along without blocking it.
Are you going out the back door too, Alan?
Recall organizer Lori Merriman wasn't buying it.
The fact that the people that are actually being recalled can vote on their own recall is absurd.
Petition organizers note the Jefferson County clerk had already certified the signatures. For now, the mayor and council members keep their seats. We're getting more information from Shrewsbury police about the 8 fights that broke out at a shopping plaza there Sunday afternoon.
Approximately 350 kids were there for an event at Sky Zone, which was already full. Police say tempers flared quickly in the 90-degree temperatures, and when they arrived, the kids scattered to stores like Aldi and Walmart and My Place Restaurant, where they allegedly came in and threatened customers and employees. Most stores were forced to close for the day. Several juveniles were detained and released to parents. One 12-year-old girl was found with a butcher knife. She allegedly told police she Ubered to the area from Florissant when she saw the fights on social media. No injuries were reported. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
So why were so many of those kids simply sent home to their parents? I'm Michael Calhoun. It comes down to how Missouri law treats juveniles, which is fundamentally different than how it treats adults. KMOX asked attorney and longtime prosecutor, including in St. Louis, Rachel Smith.
The adult system is about accountability and punishment and consequences, and the juvenile system is primarily based on the idea of rehabilitation and growth of the youth.
Smith says whether a juvenile is held or released hinges on a scoring system, and most kids score low enough to go home.
Generally, a juvenile with a point or assessment under 12 is released to their parents. That can be very hard for the community to understand because they often want the person locked up regardless of age.
Smith says that is by design. Missouri law is built around rehabilitating young people instead of punishing them. And the younger the child, she says, the more likely the points formula means they go home.
We're also hearing from Sky Zone this morning. The company tells KMOX it's Shrewsbury Park, a franchise that's independently owned, hit capacity during a promotion on Sunday and began turning people away. According to Sky Zone, that's when a crowd built up outside while staff kept things running inside. The company says it's grateful for how quickly local police responded. The World Cup coming to North America expected to bring a spike in a particular crime.
The Super Bowl on an annual basis is the largest human trafficking event within the United States. Sadly, we anticipate that the World Cup will be the site of more human trafficking than we've seen ever before.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway, she's encouraging anyone who sees something suspicious to say something.
If you see a young person in particular who seems to be in the control of an adult, coach, pastor, teacher, that's a pretty good sign. If you see a hotel room where there is rapid in and out traffic, that's a pretty good sign.
Hanaway's office is teaming up with the nonprofit It's a Penalty to make it easier to report suspected human trafficking. You can call 1-833-5-BE-SAFE if you are a victim or have knowledge of trafficking. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
St. Louis mourning the death of Steve Hawley, the longtime executive director of Guns N' Hoses. He was 70. Retired Backstoppers executive director and former St. Louis County Police Chief Ron Battelle spent nearly 22 years working alongside Hawley.
Steve was a knight in shining armor for the Backstoppers, and surely he will be missed.
Hawley spent decades leading the annual Thanksgiving Eve boxing match between police and firefighters benefiting the Backstoppers. It raised more than $13 million for the nonprofit since 1987. Police Chief Robert Tracy called Hawley one of the most influential advocates for public safety and charitable giving in the region, saying his work touched countless lives and put St. Louis on a national stage. Guns N' Hoses president David Stokes says Hawley's leadership and commitment to others left an immeasurable impact. A cause of death has not been released. A heads up for businesses in St. Charles County and beyond thinking about growing. The county hosting 2 sessions on all of the incentives and programs available to them. KMOX asked County Community Development Director Michael Herbert which industries it's aimed at.
At the end of the day, it actually doesn't really matter what the sector is. It's just a matter of what their needs are and whether we can help them.
Hurlburt says manufacturing, logistics, finance, and healthcare all growing fast in the county, but the sessions are aimed mainly at keeping and expanding the businesses already there to different times offered, noon today or at 8:30 a.m. on June 24th. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes here on KMOX. It's 8:08.
Your health story is shaped by more than genetics. Everyday choices like nutrition, physical activity, sleep, tobacco use, and routine screenings all play a role in your future health. Seidman Cancer Center's Your Disease Risk helps you understand how family history and lifestyle work together, offering personalized insights to support healthier decisions. Knowing your risks today can help protect your tomorrow. Visit seidman.washu.edu/YDR.
The Gatlin Brothers and Crystal Gale are coming to the Family Arena for one magical night of country and Christmas, December 17th. It's the Gatlin Brothers Farewell Tour, and Crystal Gale is joining them to celebrate an evening of country's greatest hits and beautiful Christmas music. Don't miss the Gatlin Brothers and Crystal Gale. Tickets are available at the Carroll House Furniture box office at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster.
Mickey Dolenz, 60 years of the Monkees. One night celebrating the music from their hit TV show, The Monkees, and a generation of adoring fans. Friday, November 13th, 7 p.m., the Family Arena. All the biggest hits and intimate stories from the groundbreaking hit show. Mickey Dolenz. On sale at the Carroll House Furniture box office at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Looks like there's still some slow going out there on the roads this morning. Roger Brand has the latest for you from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, and they just cleared I guess it was a stall, Megan. It was in the left lane, westbound 64, right at 170. Westbound 64 is a solid jam, though, from the Science Center into that point. If you're coming in on eastbound 64, well, first of all, southbound 61, you've still got those delays midway down from P to Wentzville Parkway. You're getting on to eastbound 70 toward Highway A. 64, a couple of slow pockets approaching Winghaven midway into K. And then it's slow McKnight into the Big Bend area. South 170 delays at the Parkway. South 270, 364 midway down to Olive, and then Olive to Ladue. So a couple of slow spots. North 270, a little busy approaching Tesson Ferry. The primary volume of the delays run from 44 up to Ladue. Eastbound 44 still have that slow traffic east of O. More than midway into 100 Washington, where we had the earlier incident between Bowles and Ross. It's also a little heavy, and we still have the jam downtown. Westbound 64 approaching 25th Street. Bumper to bumper through 3rd Street. Those right lanes closed for emergency repairs through the 20th. 5570 just jammed at the merge with 64. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We've got a heat advisory from noon through 10 tonight. A straight morning thunderstorm, then clouds will give way to some sunshine later today. A hot and humid afternoon. Our high 92 in Ackerman with a real field temperature can get over 100. Partly cloudy, warm and muggy tonight, though 77. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, a breezy, very hot, humid afternoon. The high 96 with real feels again exceeding 100. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
79 degrees in Florissant this hour, 77 in St. Peters, and we have sunshine, 78 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. A group that helps victims of identity theft says it's seeing a big shift With me now on the Quiver River Electric guest line is Eva Velasquez, CEO of the Identity Theft Resource Center, to talk about their 5th annual Trends in Identity report. Eva, thank you so much for being with me this morning.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
So in this latest report, how have you seen identity crimes evolve?
I think the biggest surprise to us was how quickly we've seen multiple events happening for a lot of people. So historically, people would call us with a single event. We would help them with that event, and then we'd have a few people here and there that would have what we call complex cases, where they've got multiple things going on at the same time. But now that is feeling more the norm. Identity crime isn't just this one-time event. It's this cascading event where it's occurring across multiple platforms, multiple ecosystems, and people, unfortunately, are just dealing with a lot of events that are occurring at the same time, and they're the ones responsible. They have to clean it up themselves.
So when we talk about these crimes, is it that, for example, one cyber criminal would use a single compromise of an organization then to impact a victim in multiple ways, or are victims getting hit by multiple cyber criminals?
Well, that's a good question, and I'm not sure we know the answer to who is behind doing these things. What we know is that people are telling us, my gosh, I had 2 credit cards opened in my name that I was unaware of. Someone is using my information for employment purposes, and I'm getting a bill for medical goods or services. So it's happening in different places. I'm not sure, could it be the same cyber criminal or the same thief leveraging that information? Quite possible, but we don't know. It could just be, hey, we have this great dossier of all of this information. Now it's really easy to pretend to be Eva Velasquez, and I'm just going to leverage that and monetize it in any way that I possibly can.
You mentioned that it's the victims that are trying to figure this out on their own for the most part. How many victims ultimately are able to get any resolution or even restitution of funds that they've lost?
Well, that depends on how you define resolution. We are a charity organization, so all of this data is being taken from our contact center. These are the folks that have called us in a given year and sought help, free help, to restore their identity. A lot of times, part of that restoration process is not just cleaning up their identity and getting it back to baseline, it's being made financially whole. It really depends on what happened. If it's that more traditional identity misuse, again, maybe it's account takeover and someone made charges on a credit account that you have, or they opened a new account in your name. We tend to see more financial resolution in that area. Now, when it comes to scams, where someone has authorized the payment, but they didn't mean to do it for that person. Best example, I thought I was talking to my bank. I thought it was them telling me to transfer the money. I thought I was talking to my utility company and they told me I had a past due bill, or even the government. That's different. We don't have the same level of consumer protections in place. The financial institutions are not beholden to making sure that you're financially whole because you actually said, I'm going to authorize that payment. So we see far less full restitution and resolution, financial resolution in those instances. But it takes time, but we do see people restoring their identity where they have regained control of those accounts to the degree that they can, and they feel better about being in control of their actual identity being misused by someone else. But again, that takes a significant amount of time, weeks, months, sometimes years.
What are you seeing as some of the top ways that people are becoming victims of identity theft?
Unfortunately, it's hard to target how their information was compromised, how it got into the hands of the criminals. But what we do see is how it's being misused. And one of the surprising things was how your phone, so we're seeing a lot more people saying their phone's been hacked, their phone's been compromised, and they no longer have control over whatever accounts and information was in that device. And that's going to be dependent on what information did you have in there? Do you have your banking app open and your password saved? Have you enabled MFA? Better yet, passkeys. It becomes so individual. I think that's one of the big challenges we have with wrapping our heads around this problem. If it was a one size fits all, and we could just give people a checklist of what to do, we'd have a much better handle on this. But it's not. It's not dependent on where you live, what your age is. It's about how you engage with the digital world, with the real world and the digital world, and that's where the vulnerabilities are going to be. So more often than not, it's financial. You're going to see more account takeover, financial account takeover, bank accounts, credit cards, or new accounts being opened in your name. But part of that is because that's the most lucrative. That's where the bad guys can go and get the most bang for your buck, so to speak, the most financial gain in a single event. But I also want to make sure they're not focused on single events. They're focused on monetizing your data and your identity across the board in as many ways as they can.
You've been doing this for a long time. When you look at the fact that the things you've seen over the last just 5 years that you've been doing this report alone, what are the top takeaways that your organization takes, and what should consumers be thinking about in their daily lives?
We have been doing this for a long time. ITRC has been around for 26 years. I've been here for 15 years. A little later this year, I'll have my 15-year anniversary. And I think the biggest takeaway is you need to view your identity as an asset. It's not this nebulous thing that's just sort of sitting over there and you don't have to think about it. It really is an asset, just like you pay attention to your cash in your bank account. And yes, businesses and government have an obligation to protect it and to help protect you, but you have a role to play too. So shoring that up, putting small practices, things like good cyber hygiene, making sure that you're verifying what websites you're going to, making sure that you're using unique passwords across all of your different accounts, not the same easy password across all of them, enabling multi-factor authentication or passkeys, using biometrics and embracing the use of biometrics. It's going to be one of the ways that we can reduce these incident rates, and just learning a little bit about how your identity is everywhere, because it is. I know that's a bit of a burden. We like convenience and we love picking up, opening a new app and saying, oh, well, please access my camera roll and show me what I'm going to look like in 20 years. But I want to encourage people to be very thoughtful about who they're sharing that data with and why, and realize that you're making a trade-off because you're sharing an asset, your identity.
Eva, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
Happy to be here. Hope we educated some folks.
That is Eva Velasquez, CEO of the Identity Theft Resource Center. Still ahead on Total Information AM, how the juvenile court system handles teen takeovers. Let's get a check of the roads now with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We've still got our jam downtown, Megan. This traffic reports a service of Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Westbound 64 still jammed 25th Street over to 3rd Street where those right lanes are closed. We'll talk about your USPS Ground Advantage reliable route. 5570 today has been great west of 255, no roadwork delays. And if you jump on at the split there and take 70 across the Mutual Veterans Bridge, it's wide open as well, so that may be a better alternate route. 64 drivers take 255 or 111 up to 5570 to avoid sitting in that traffic going to the Poplar. Westbound 64, Science Center out through Big Bend is still bumper to bumper. Out west, southbound 61 still delays midway between P and Wentzville Parkway. Down onto eastbound 70 at Highway A, 64. Winghaven midway into K, a couple of slow spots in east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. The Interbelt's still slow at the Parkway, southbound 270, south of 364 to Olive, and then around Ladue, a little busy. North 270, Big Bend to Ladue, heavy, and still seeing a little bit of a slowdown eastbound 44, east of 50, midway into 100 Washington. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're going to try to stay cool today. The forecast calling for a heat advisory in effect from noon until 10 tonight. We could see some hot and humid conditions, a high 92, with an AccuWeather real field temperature topping 100 degrees today. Partly cloudy tonight, uncomfortably warm and sticky with an overnight low of 77. Right now, sunshine 78 downtown at the Arch.
For dependable, no-pressure home comfort solutions, turn to Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Locally owned and family operated for over 40 years. Our team will work with you on a plan that fits your home's needs with financing available. And as always, your family's comfort is our family's business. Learn more at huffheating.com.
I got up this morning, put my eye drops in. It's a really simple fix for dry eye. How did I know I had dry eye? Well, I was diagnosed by Dr. Greg Birdie at Ophthalmology Associates. And as I get older, it's even more important that I take great care of my eyes. I've already seen some changes due to age, and that's why I see Dr. Birdie. You can call 314-966-5000 or go to youridoc.com to find out more. I'm one of those people, I've worn glasses since I was in preschool, so I've been to a lot of eye doctors over my life. I have a challenging prescription, and I have some conditions that run in my family like glaucoma. So every visit, I get a really thorough screening. Dr. Birdie takes time to walk me through what he's seeing with my eyes and then what we need to watch for down the road. You can have that same level of care when you go to Ophthalmology Associates. Again, that number to call, 314-966-5000, or go to youridoc.com. The doctors of Ophthalmology Associates are Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. Again, 314-966-5000.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
Lynch, welcome back to Total Information AM here on KMOX. Sunday's chaos in Shrewsbury, along with teen takeovers elsewhere in the county and city, have raised a lot of questions about how the system handles kids who break the law. KMOX's Michael Calhoun sat down with a longtime former city prosecutor to walk through how it actually works and why.
Hundreds of kids, 8 fights, stores forced to close, officers pelted with rocks. The crowd had come for a so-called 6-7 event. The teen takeovers we've seen lately, police say, are increasingly organized online. Officers detained several juveniles, but then released most of them to their parents within hours. We've heard this happen after other arrests and incidents too. How come? The answer is that Missouri treats kids who break the law on a completely different track than adults. Rachel Smith is an attorney and longtime prosecutor.
The adult system is about accountability and punishment and consequences, and the juvenile system is primarily based on the idea of rehabilitation and growth of the youth to allow them to incorporate back into or be a productive member of society.
That track starts the moment a juvenile is arrested. There's no bail hearing. Instead, Missouri scores each child, weighing how much of a threat they are and whether they need to be held.
That is a points system, and generally a juvenile with a point or assessment under 12 is released to their parents. That can be very hard for the community to understand because they often want the person locked up regardless of age. But our laws and our legislature treat people who are juveniles in a manner where the belief is that they're best out in society, that the goal of the system is to rehabilitate them and to give them resources, not to punish them.
But that does not mean every kid goes home at the end of the night. The same system can keep a juvenile locked up. It just takes a lot. Smith says the score starts with the offense itself, then layers in other factors.
There can be aggravating circumstances. Was somebody hurt? Has the juvenile been before the court system before? Do they and their family have a history of failing to appear in court? But most juveniles who receive a lower score or are not considered a suitable candidate for detention are released.
After Sunday, there have been questions about the parents, especially any who dropped their kids off and drove away. Can a parent be charged? Smith says there's no automatic answer.
If the parents dropped them off knowing there was a danger and a risk, or knowing of the potential for criminal behavior, then yes. But if they dropped them off sort of in a negligent manner, or in a manner where they didn't know what was going on, depending on the age of the child, no. It's the pattern of almost any parent who, drops their child off to go into Sky Zone or drops their child off to go hang out at the coffee shop or the bookshop with their friends.
That's Rachel Smith, attorney and longtime prosecutor, including in St. Louis, on what happens after chaos like we saw in Shrewsbury Sunday. For Total Information AM, Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It's now 8:28, and this time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Please be advised. You may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, bean sprouts, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
Wait, what? I thought those were good for me.
Turns out not for everyone, because what's healthy for one person can cause inflammation for another. And the only way to really know what your body needs is to listen to it.
Listen how?
That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to understand what's happening inside you right now. When your results come in, you'll learn exactly which foods to eat, which to avoid, and which supplements are right for you, all based on the world's largest RNA-based human biology database and thousands of clinical research studies. And many people who use Viome report more energy, better digestion, and a better mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing. Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase. Viome. Trust your gut.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
8:30, time for a check on the morning rush with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have delays out there. In fact, it looks like we have an incident on northbound 270 as you ramp on from 55. This traffic reports service of Scott Credit Union. The ramp's backed up. Once you get past that, it's just slow traffic north of Big Bend all the way up to Ladue. South 270, Olive to Ladue, still a little heavy. Southbound 61 still slow. North of Wentworth Parkway down onto that ramp, getting onto eastbound 70. 64 backed up approaching Wing Haven. Goes about midway into K, and then it's heavy again. Lindbergh into Big Bend. South 170 still delays at the Parkway. And on the Illinois side, it's a little bit better, but not much. Westbound 64 still backed up west of 25th Street over to 3rd Street, where those right lanes are closed for the construction work. 44 between the 50 and 100 out in the Union, Washington area. Looks like that's finally thinned out. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Teachers, healthcare workers, first responders, and military. This one's for you. Scott Credit Union's Community Heroes program offers special financing on homes, autos, and more. It's our way of saying thanks. Visit scu.org today. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 415767. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Salika Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we are under a heat advisory starting from noon through 10 p.m. today. Hot and humid this afternoon, a high 92. Real field temperatures are going to top 100. Right now, sunny skies, 78 downtown at the Arch. McDonald's is embracing AI in the form of a chatbot named Archie. ABC's Brad Mielke learned more about the experience from Elizabeth Schulte, who experienced it for herself.
So when you pull up to the drive-thru, instead of hearing that person on the other side taking your order, maybe asking you questions, it's actually an automated AI chatbot.
Welcome back. Bienvenidos. Please share your mobile code or start your order now.
And a McDonald's franchise owner actually shared video of this new AI technology that was on display last week at McDonald's Worldwide Conference.
She says this demo looks a lot like any conversation with another chatbot, like ChatGPT. You speak out loud in English or in Spanish, and you can see on the screen what the program hears you saying along with its response.
I'll also get 3 McSpicy wings.
Is that with barbecue sauce?
No, hot honey, please.
Got it. Anything else for you today?
If it mishears you or you change your mind, just like in real life, you can correct them. McDonald's claims it's 90% accurate.
In some cases, it apparently even seemed to remember people's orders. If you drove up, it remembered you and asked if you wanted the usual.
McDonald's claims this will allow their kitchens to be more efficient, quicker, more accurate, fewer miscommunications or chit-chat. Critics say this is McDonald's finishing the puzzle it's been trying to solve for years: how to take those pesky humans out of the equation.
This definitely means humans would be doing less, at least when it comes to the drive-through ordering, if this is implemented across restaurants, which it's not right now. But what McDonald's has said is that that doesn't mean that those humans' jobs are getting replaced. Instead, they would be able to work in the kitchen, prepare food, prepare beverages, which is a big push for McDonald's right now.
Taco Bell and Wendy's trying out similar programs. It's 8:33. Your Money Report is next.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Easy Cater, we believe every workday gets better with great food. The 9 a.m. staff meeting? How about breakfast burritos and lots of coffee? Big client presentation at noon? Let's do Mediterranean bowls. Accounting's gotta work late. Keep them pepped up with spicy noodles. With Easy Cater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with Easy Cater. Start an order at easycater.com.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
The artificial intelligence race heads to Wall Street. OpenAI has filed to become a public company, and its listing could come as soon as this fall. The maker of ChatGPT is looking to fund its ambitious growth plans. OpenAI kicked off the AI boom with the release of ChatGPT in 2022. Though ChatGPT is synonymous with AI for many people, OpenAI faces a number of challenges, including rising competition from Anthropic and Google. And digital lender Klarna is launching savings accounts in the U.S. The company is looking to deepen its core banking business and trying to attract more everyday users. The fintech is launching a high-yield savings product with an annual percentage yield of as much as 3.28%. Klarna is known for offering buy now, pay later loans. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
It's time to check out the exterior of your home. Tom Ackerman with you. Siding and windows, two things that can make your home look like the best home in the neighborhood. It just makes a huge difference. And the best in the business is Banner Construction. Since 1993, they have been the best when it comes to Pella windows. They're a Pella window specialist. They're a preferred James Hardie contractor. They are Banner Construction. You don't want to go with a company that doesn't entirely know what it's doing or tries to cut corners or hasn't been around for a very long time. 1993 is when they started, so over 30 years of excellence. Go online and see for yourself all the great examples at bannerconstruction.com. Banner Construction will come over to your home. They'll give you a free in-home consultation. You're going to love their team. I really appreciate Banner Construction and what they do here in St. Louis. Visit them online, bannerconstruction.com, 314-569-1050, and have a banner day.
Many times, a person hires a law firm after an injury without doing research. It can be a big mistake or not. Sometimes, after you have hired a certain lawyer, you realize you made a certain mistake. But guess what? Just because you hired them doesn't mean you can't fire them. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you think you've hired the wrong firm, you may have. So do this. Google Morgan & Morgan results or visit forthepeople.com for cases just like yours. You may find that our full-service injury firm should have been your choice in the first place. Last year, almost 12,000 people discharged their law firm and hired us after further research. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com today and let's get started. Or call Pound Law on your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, Skin Cancer Awareness this summertime, and we're joined by Dr. Aubriana McAvoy, a WashU medicine surgeon.
So I think most importantly, don't ignore a spot that's changing because early detection can save lives, and a quick skin check today could prevent a much bigger problem down the road.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. A U.S. Army Apache helicopter gunship went down off the coast of Oman while patrolling regional waters Monday in the Gulf. The two crew members were safely rescued now. That has been confirmed by the military's Central Command. The push to recall the mayor and several Festus council members over a data center approval fell short last night after the council refused to put it on the ballot. And the iconic Skyview Drive-In in Belleville, Illinois is for sale. The almost 14-acre property listed for $975,000. Let's see how things are moving on the roads now with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, we still got some slow going out there, Megan. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm out west. Southbound 61 still delays Wentzville Parkway onto that ramp to eastbound 70, and eastbound 64 east of there is still stop and go east of 364 to a point midway between Winghaven and Highway K, and then it's bogged down from Lindbergh all the way into Big Bend. South 170 Ladue to 64 is heavy. North 270 a brief slowdown north of Gravois, then Doherty Ferry up to Ladue, the heaviest part of that run. And downtown westbound 64 still jammed Baugh Avenue to 3rd Street in that construction zone where the right lanes are closed. Westbound 270, Route 203 to Route 3, seeing some slow traffic as well. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
It's going to be hot, humid, and sunny today, a high 92. The real field temperatures could top 100 degrees, and that's why we will be under a heat advisory from noon through 10 o'clock tonight. Right now, sunny skies, 80 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for joining me this morning for Total Information AM here on KMOX. Have you ever had a St. Paul sandwich? They are a favorite in our household. You might think with a name like St. Paul, it's a Minnesota creation, but many people trace its origins to St. Louis. And my next guest has produced a documentary about it, but it's much more than a sandwich.
In St. Louis, some things disappear. Residents leave. Tenants move out. Businesses close. And on certain blocks, nature starts to reclaim what's left behind. And yet somehow, one of the strangest things to survive here is a sandwich. It's called the St. Paul.
That's Joe Parisi, voice actor, announcer, marketing professional, and filmmaker. And his new film is St. Paul, Pray for Us. He joins me now in studio. Good morning and welcome to KMOX.
Thank you, Megan. Good morning.
What is it about this sandwich for you? What intrigued you?
Well, it was one of those things I came across just about 2 years ago. So I'm kind of new to the St. Paul myself, but I learned that it was one of those St. Louis specific things like toasted ravioli or gooey butter cake, but it didn't have nearly the recognition. And it was one of those things like the further you went into the city, the more popular it was. So I thought, I started asking people in my life, in South County, like, do you know about this thing? And they all said no. And I'm kind of drawn to those kind of pop culture oddities. And this was just one of those things that I was like, okay, there's definitely a story here. And as I started digging into this, I just found, locations with just so much incredible character, and the story just kind of unfolded from there.
So now the original St. Paul sandwich that there's a whole kind of folklore, I think, that really goes along with this.
Yes.
But basically, what is it? What are people eating?
Okay, so it is an egg foo young patty on white bread. And if people don't know what egg foo young is, it's bean sprouts that they will, throw into a little bowl, beat it with an egg, and then carefully drop it into the hot grease. So it'll form a patty. They serve that patty on white bread with lettuce, tomato, pickle, onion, and mayonnaise. You got to have the mayonnaise, and they'll typically give you the option to add some sort of a protein. Chicken, ham, shrimp are popular. So that's what it is. And like I said, it's usually found in these little Chinese takeout spots all around the city. It has stretched a little bit into the county. I've heard people saying recently, telling me they found it in Crestwood at a place or Revis Barracks, but this is something that was born here in the city.
Now, a lot of people will say, well, this, some of this dates back to, for example, some of the early 19th century logging communities, but was popularized here. And it was one specific restaurant, I guess, that he made the most of this.
Absolutely. There were a couple sandwiches that were similar. And there was a chow mein sandwich that apparently got popular in Southeast Massachusetts in the 30s and 40s. There was something called a Denver sandwich. I think that's still a thing. That's more of an omelet sandwich. But the St. Paul, people are saying that they remember their parent having it in the 50s and 60s. But where I've kind of landed on this is it, at least for the first time, was sold under that name at a place called Park Chop Suey. About a mile from where we're sitting right now in Lafayette Square. So it used to be at 1709 Park Avenue, which is like right next to the fountain in Lafayette Square. They opened there in 1974. So that's kind of where we get this sandwich under the name of a St. Paul. And Park Chop Suey is still in existence. It's about a half a mile from that original location right now at 14th and Choteau in a building that used to be a filling station. They've been there since about 2000. And the guy that works in that kitchen, who you see in this film, was hired at the original location in 1980 by a man named Stephen Ewan. And all records point to Stephen Ewan as the creator of the sandwich, who named it. And Stephen Ewan was from St. Paul, Minnesota. So that's where he was like, I'm going to name it the St. Paul. So I think we're pretty set on it being named in 74 at Park Chop Suey.
I think what's so fascinating about the film that you've put together is it's so much more than about just a sandwich. And that's what happens to storytellers a lot. You go out thinking you're going to be covering one thing and you find so much more. As you started investigating where the sandwich came from and its connection to these communities, what did you find as kind of a more important story of St. Louis?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I heard something years ago that said, if you're trying to make a documentary film, if the finished product is exactly what you thought it was going to be when you started, you were not paying attention. And that's what has happened in every one of these projects that I've done. So when I was out hanging around these places up in North City, around the Fairground Parks neighborhood, what I was noticing is so much of their business was foot traffic. So these are catering to people who live within 3 or 4 blocks from these locations, where if you look around, there's not much else there. There aren't hardly any options for them to get a hot, affordable, fresh meal. Some of these areas, if these residents want to go to a grocery store, they are walking 10 blocks or they are getting on a bus, and it's just not convenient. So what I found was these chop suey restaurants, these Chinese takeout spots where the St. Paul has kind of become famous, are really the neighborhood anchors. And I can tell you at 11:30 in the morning when these places are opening, they have lines out the door. These places are thriving. And this St. Paul sandwich is kind of right there at the heart of it. So it was really neat to see just how important these little restaurants are to our communities throughout the city and how protective those neighborhoods were of them.
So St. Paul, Pray for Us, the name of your film. Where can our listeners find that and find all the other work you've done?
Absolutely. If you go to joeparisifilms.com, my last name is Parisi, joeparisifilms.com, that'll take you to my YouTube playlist where you can find all of my documentary films. And there's 7 or 8 of them on there. So yeah, check it out.
Joe, thank you so much for coming in studio to talk about this.
Thank you, Megan. It's been great.
Coming up next on Total Information AM, there is a new food hall concept. We're going to stay on the food theme this morning. It's on Washington Avenue. We'll tell you more about it next.
I'm Dave Glover. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Let me put this in simple terms. You can't put your estate planning documents in a drawer and forget about them. That doesn't help your family when it matters most. My family has trusted the Lederman Law Firm here in St. Louis with our estate planning for over 20 years. And what sets them apart is they don't treat estate planning like a one-and-done thing. They treat it like what it really is, a living, breathing plan. They build your plan to protect your family, your assets, and your wishes. And then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it updated as your life changes, because it will. Families need change, assets change, the law changes. And because of this, many people don't realize how many plans out there are still outdated until it's too late. The Lederman Law Firm, an annual process they offer to help keep our plan up to date with changes over time, and they can do the same for you. 314-514-9100, LedermanLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Artistic Decks. For 26 years, we've been making dreams affordable in the St. Louis area. With an A+ BBB rating, we're the team you can trust. Let us build your dream deck. Artistic Decks. For a free consultation, call us at 314-280-0821.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark. $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now. Cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
A new food hall in downtown St. Louis promises to offer more than just a great food experience. I found out what's on the menu at Wash Ave Food Hall from Alex Oliver, CEO of Oliver Properties. What is different about this food hall?
Yeah, so I think there's a few things. One is its scale. So there are going to be 6 food vendors, 2 bars, and then 2 unvented vendors. There'll be more like kind of desserts and snacks. It's got a social space. It's going to have some game areas. It's got a rear patio that has a retractable roof. So I think all of that really combines to create an atmosphere where people want to gather. They can be social. They can get a variety of foods. And there's a space that will really host, from small groups to large groups. So good gatherings after work, happy hours, networking, conferences, really serve a wide variety of audiences that are all right along the Wash Ave neighborhood in downtown.
How much did we need something like this that's walkable to a lot of other venues that are right around this area?
Yeah, so I think that's a thing we have seen with our other developments along this stretch on Wash Ave is there's a fair amount of sit-down restaurants existing, and those are great. And there's sort of a lack right now, sort of that more quick serve option, and also a space for really large gatherings. So, the sit-down restaurants really fill up pretty quickly. Some of the bars and spaces fill up pretty quickly. And a lot of them don't have like that activity space of like, okay, if people are here for visitors and tourists and conferences or residents who live down here, they're like, hey, I want to go out and have some like social activity. this adds some of that, activity type space they can go where it's also social and you can do things while you're out and about.
What kind of restaurants do you hope to attract with this project?
Yes, we're still finalizing all the terms and everything, so we're not ready to announce anything yet. But what we are working on is a variety of food options. So having those 6, we're not going to have, 30 different food options, but we will have 6 food options, which should give a good mix from like burgers to some Asian food, Mediterranean food, all kind of quick serve, light fare. So it's easy for sharing, easy for people to come in as a group. What we're looking for from the operators is, so far we've found operators that have, 1, 2, maybe 3 locations already. So they've kind of proven themselves out. They know, their menu, they know their recipes, they know how to successfully kind of run and operate. So they can really bring that high quality food experience to bring to this high quality social experience.
Describe where this is on Washington Avenue.
So this is at 1122 Washington. So it's right between 11th Street and Tucker on Wash Ave on the south side of the street. So it's kind of mid-block right there on the south side of Wash Ave.
Alex, can you paint a picture for us of what it's going to feel like, once this space is renovated and ready?
Yeah. So the space goes all the way from the Wash Ave side of the building all the way through the building to the back street. So when you walk in the front door, you'll see all the way through the space. We're going to have glass overhead garage doors that'll lead out to the rear patio that has a retractable roof. There's even an outdoor patio on the rear street with another overhead door. So you'll see straight through the space. In the middle, we have our 2 large bar areas. There'll be one inside, one out in the outdoor patio space. And then on each side, as you come in, there'll be the 3 food vendors on each side. So there'll be the 6 vendors right when you come in. And to your left, when you walk in the front door, that'll lead over into the social game space that we're building out, which will have some, lawn games and a ton of cool stuff that can be used year round. For social activity. So it'll really be a kind of cool flow of space.
You mentioned, for like after hours business. What about residents of this area? Have they been asking for more here?
They have been. So we have quite a few residents already in our development. So we have, around 600 apartments downtown. There's several thousand full-time residents who live downtown. I think we're north of 11 or 12,000 downtown residents at this point. And that is something I hear from our residents. I'm a downtown resident, and I know it's something I look for as well is where's a space that has a really great patio? Where's a space that has, sort of that social, you can just sit down and relax, you can gather with friends, a little more of a casual space. So, there are a lot of sit-down restaurants around. I think this offers that other space where you can social, you can gather, you can get together with big groups, small groups, happy hours, after hours. I think it really opens up an offering that's missing in the market today.
What I really love about this too is that it's one payment. All of these vendors are linked.
Yes. Yeah. We're using technology to try to make it as simple as possible. I've gone to some food halls where, every transaction is a separate transaction and it's just not as smooth. So this is a single point of sale system. So whether you're at the bar, you're ordering from a vendor, you're ordering from 3 different vendors, you've got a whole group and you're all sharing a tab. It'll make it really easy to utilize that technology.
When are you expecting this to open?
So we're going to have our grand opening in October. We'll be getting our soft open in September. We're really winding down construction as we speak. So getting through the final stages and getting all the furniture and FF&E and all the kitchen equipment in there, it all takes a lot of time. But yeah, early fall, we'll be opening up. So we'll still have some great weather for that rear patio to open up the roof. And then when it gets colder, we can close it off. And so it's still usable year round.
Well, KMOX is very close by, so we're looking forward to it. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you.
That is Alex Oliver of Oliver Properties, developing Wash Ave Food Hall. Again, it's opening this fall. If you've missed any of our segments on Total Information AM, you can always check us out on the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. You can go back and listen to our previous segments that we have here on Total Information AM. Tomorrow morning, it's our weekly visit with KMOX legal analyst Brad Young in the 8 o'clock hour.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Lynch.
Studies suggest bamboo, commonly eaten in Asia, has superfood potential. Researchers at Anguilla Ruskin University in the UK find a host of benefits from the fastest growing plant on the planet, including helping control blood sugar, fighting inflammation, and improving gut health. Researchers stress bamboo must be parboiled to eliminate natural toxins and that further studies are needed before making firm recommendations. I'm Margie Schaefer.
If you